Hi, Day. How are you? It is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And it's Friday, and it's your chance. Lotto Max, 50 mil up for grabs at PlayAlberta.ca. I am Jason Gregor. He is Connor Halley. And the show, it's going to be a good one today. We are... how about if you're a baseball fan, Colin, we'll get to one of the great baseball stories in recent memory of a player who to start in the minors, get recalled, and then not only make the All-Star team, but be the starting pitcher in the All-Star game. That is it's almost like a rags to riches story, Con, man.
Almost, right? I think some hype behind the character we're talking about here with the Pittsburgh Pirates and what he's been able to do with Paul Skeens. Yeah, I mean, the hype was there from the start. And we saw with other players come up this year, some of the higher ranked prospects come in, maybe not have the success they would have expected and then find themselves back in AAA. But Skeens kid, he might have it. Looked pretty good last night.
Well, did you see... there was a stat that, and I know that, hey, baseball has all these crazy stats, but there was a stat out for Skeens last night that he's the first pitcher in Major League Baseball history to have 2 starts on the road with 10 Ks, one or fewer walks, and go 7 innings on the road. And I'm like, what? How's that possible? Because baseball is the ultimate statistical sport, right? I think any analytics in baseball work better than any other sport because every play starts at the exact same spot. Every play. And so now you're starting from ground zero every single time. So not every zone entry in hockey is the same, right? You don't know, is there back pressure? Is there not back pressure? Like there's so many different factors that go into it. But in baseball, I think it is the best sport setup if you want to do deep dive in analytics. And that's why they have so many stats. So we'll talk about that. Cam Jansen will be by. We're going to talk a little St. Louis Blues as we continue our. We did the Pacific Division. Now we're going into the rest of the Western Conference. Al Mitchell will be by. Elks linebacker. He's back for his second tour of duty with the green and gold. Derek Moncrief will join us. Can they get a win? They need a win, to put it mildly, against the Red Blacks. And have they officially announced their starter yet? Is Crum starting? Well, we'll see. Did he get the green light?
Drew Brown?
Yeah, is it Brown?
Yeah, he cleared concussion protocol. He'll be good to go.
So it's Brown, Crum. So Crum will be getting all the crumbs on the backup. All right. Also, Browning will be back. Lauriane Munzer today. A real specific focus with Lauriane. So loaded show. As always, you can get involved. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. You're a partner in power since 1976. EWEL.ca. We got a lot of texts coming in already. Last night, it happened yesterday afternoon, in fact, but the Blue Jays, I don't know if it's too little too late or not for the Jays, but at least they've won back-to-back series. That's God, when was the last time they won 2 consecutive series? Never mind both of them being on the road, but they're still in the basement, and they got a long ways to go. I don't think it's realistic if we're looking at it for the wild card. What are they, like 8 games back? Like Boston is absolutely on fire. That's the team that they're chasing. Now the Yankees have been struggling. The Jays have made up. They've actually only made up 2 games on the Yankees in their last 10. And that's their problem. Like they're going to have to go like this the rest of the way. Like they're still 7 games under 500. Like there's only 69 games left in the season for the Jays. So less than half. They would have to win probably, like if we're being realistic, the Jays would probably have to win like 50 games of the remaining 69 to get to the playoffs. If we're being realistic, that's why I don't think there's much of a chance there to do it. I guess you can always say there's a chance, but I don't think it's a great chance. So who knows? We'll see. The Elks, if you missed it, we're going to replay that answer cons from Bethel Thompson yesterday on the show, because if you want an explanation, and it was back to back from Bethel Thompson about understanding the position, but then he gave one of the best answers that I've heard that really takes you inside what a quarterback is seeing and all the different things they see and how he kept talking about it. And then he would bring up something else. I'm like, what? You're seeing all of this? It's like 3 seconds. You got to remember, they're looking most plays. You snap the ball, right? Looking left, looking right on pat. What do they say? 2.4 to 2.9 seconds usually. And then you got to make all of these decisions. We got that clip, Con.
Do you want your question in it, or do you want to go right to his answer?
No, we'll just go to the answer. I'll set up my question. So I had asked him, for those of you who watched the BC game, in the third quarter, early in the third quarter, the Elks are marching down the field, and Cobb was open on the left side in the seam, and Bethel Thompson overthrew him. And you saw Bethel Thompson, he knew, he's like, oh, that would have been a touchdown if he hit him. Now, then a few plays later, he threw the interception. But I asked Bethel Thompson the Cobb play, because he had mentioned early in our interview yesterday that he feels that right now he's making 2 or 3 really poor decisions in the game, and that's too high. So I asked him, I said, so is the Cobb one of those decisions that you didn't like? Here's his response.
Well, I'll dive into that one. That's a draw play to the running back. That's supposed to go to the running back. That's a draw play up the middle. The will blitzes, and I was a 3-down front, so the will blitzes, and actually we're going to so we're actually supposed to read the will, and the will blitz, but the other linebacker pushed over the top, so I couldn't go to my hot read, which was the backside, and I couldn't hand the ball off to KB, so we were kind of in a double pickle, and I drifted to the left and threw a ball that we never really throw, and it could have been a touchdown, but we never really throw it. So the receiver wasn't necessarily going as fast as he could have possibly. Maybe I could have adjusted for him not going as fast as he thought he should be going. I put it to a spot that a corner ball usually goes to, especially with how speedy that receiver was. And he wasn't expecting it because the ball, again, never goes there. So the potential of our offense, that it speaks to what we can do as an offense. We can turn a simple running back draw play into a 45-yard corner ball into the back of the end zone. That's the potential of our offense. That's how dynamic we are. That's how dynamic our group of players are. But that's also complicated, right? That's not an easy play where it's like, oh, we either hand the ball off and it works or it doesn't work. We're going to try to make every play work. And that one, unfortunately, we're just short of that. So there's a lot of factors that go into that play. And we were just a hair away.
Interesting breakdown of that. So what was the player too that you, and you got to remember, like, I don't script these questions. He doesn't know what question's coming, but it's amazing to me how a quarterback can recall so many different things of one specific play in a game. Right. And so then the interception, because I asked him about, the mistake he made, and he went to the interception. Now listen to him break down what he didn't like about his throw in the red zone that was picked off.
The first one was the interception in the red zone, especially it's on first down. So that's another factor, is their mistakes become your mistakes, right? So they're running 3 double cut in the red zone. It's first down, right? If you just get a nice run, you get a first down in the red zone. So the big thing is like, okay, let's get yardage, let's move into a second and medium and go down and score a touchdown. So it's a 2-by-3 formation. They go into a soft 3 double cut coverage. We have a high-low there to the boundary. And so I get off the boundary because it's 3 double cut. Really, they actually bust the coverage, and there's no high player over there. So you can see the corner ball actually running open on that play. Get a little pressure from the right, reset to our double digs, which we like at 3 double cut. The high dig was covered, and Ciante Evans, the field corner, who's supposed to be in a high double cut to the field, just took a gamble. And actually talked with him after the game about it. He just took a gamble, so I was just guessing. And I just ran and cut and beat the D-Mitch to the ball there to the field. It was something that's really frustrating for me, because rather than being aggressive or playing it out or finding a different route. I kind of was like, let's just get a couple yards here and move into it. Where I was like I was making conclusions before the play happened. So what I would like to see in my game improve is just play it out, man. If it becomes a shot on first down, it becomes a shot on first down. Play it out how you see it rather than jump into conclusions trying to control the whole game. That's a big one. What's another one in that game? Early in the game, we had run a double dig concept to the backside, and they come out of the sky. They push the free safety weak and cloud the boundary. So normally when you cloud the boundary, you're working field right away. So I go to work the field right away, but the wheel also got depth. So I could have gotten a completion to a shallow route to the clouded side. But normally where it worked double digs, our dig was a little bit short, and the Mike ended up pushing. If he would have gotten his depth, I could have thrown the dig route and converted on second down and kept us on the field. So it's like, do I take the shallow or do I go to where the coverage tells me to go? Again, like the complications of what you want to do. If we do get our depth, that's about a 20, 25 yard throw with a big play there. So I wish I would have just taken the shallow and played my progression as smoothly as possible. There's a couple more. I don't know. I'm on to Ottawa, so I can't remember
So there you go. That's quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson yesterday on the show. I thought it was a really honest and great breakdown and gives you a little bit of an insight into what's going through the mind of a quarterback on different plays. And sometimes, you know what? A good defensive back, you got to guess. That's just the fact. You can't wait every time and then just, think you're going to have a great break in the brawl. Sometimes you got to break before and just anticipate. So you give the DB credit for the anticipation, and we'll see. But look for the game if you're going on Sunday or you're watching at home. And Bethel Thompson feels for him, these are his words, not mine, that he's making 2 to 3, what he calls like too big of mistakes in the game, and he wants to eliminate them. So I always like when a player's honest, right? Not making excuses, just saying, hey, I'm evaluating my play. This is what I see. So the Elks, they're in need of a win. I don't think anybody can argue that. And he's had lots of good plays, but I think Bethel Thompson's evaluation of himself is very accurate for the overall team, because they'll play really well for long stretches and then boom, big error, and it costs them. Whether it's a broken coverage, whether it's a fumble, whether it's going offside on a kickoff, which should never happen, bad interception in the red zone, receiver runs the wrong route, leads to an interception. And it has been, I would say, just adding up. So we'll see. Now, lots of texts, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, I'm a football coach. That's one of the best, most in-depth answers. Anyway, that is online that I could record it. Yeah, if you go to jasongregor.com, the interview's right there. You can download the interview and you can get it. And then if you want to take some, just give us credit where you got it from. That's all we'd ask for. But yeah, no problem. I think if you're a coach, you want to use that stuff, it's great. Let your young kids listen to all the different things that a quarterback has to go through and see in the heat of the moment. And then being able to recall it. I think that's why, quarterbacks, you got to have great athleticism. You got to be able to throw the ball accurate. But man, so much of that position is cerebral as well. You've got to be able to think the game and see things. So, and one of those guys who was very good at that was Mike Riley. And the big man will be coming on the show in August for our Who Is It Wednesday guest. Kind of go through his career as a firefighter now, which doesn't really shock me when you consider a guy who loved the team environment. And now he's in a team environment. He's leading. He kind of leads his group out at his hall. So we'll talk to Mike in August. We're just kind of settling on an exact date for that with him. Few other news and notes. I love it. We always get in random text just out of the blue for nothing. Hey, Greg's. I know you guys haven't talked about it yet, but what did you think of the ESPYs last night? Well, to be honest, I didn't watch all of it. I watched bits and pieces of it. Connor McDavid winning best hockey player. Now, I know people are going to say, but he didn't win the Hart. Well, yeah, because the Hart is specific to only the regular season. Now, if you combine the regular season and the playoffs, well, then, of course, it's Connor McDavid. All you got to do is, you just look at his stats, right? He became only the third player in NHL history to have 40 points in a playoff series. playoff season, I should say. So, because he had 132 points in the regular season, right? McKinnon had 140, Kucherov had 144. But in the playoffs, McDavid had 42. So 42 and 100, now he's up to 174 points in a regular season. And I think it's might be 11th combined most, right? Obviously Gretzky's way up there. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 regular seasons that had more points than that, right? 183, 196, 205, 208, 212, 215, not to mention his playoffs in those seasons. Mario Lemieux obviously had the 199. Then he had 160 points in the regular season the 1 year and 161 in another season. So it's in double digits. But either way, it was a pretty impressive season. So I'm not surprised. He won. Hey, Greggs, what do you make of Evander Kane being there? I thought he's rehabbing. Well, you can do both. But as I had mentioned before with Evander Kane, they're going to go with the rest recovery approach first, rehab, and see if that will allow him to be ready to go. Again, and I said this when he came out at the start of the playoffs and mentioned, he had the sports hernia and he was dealing with it. I was kind of like, why are you saying that? I didn't understand. I've covered the league for 20 some years. I can't recall in any sport a player before the playoffs announcing what his injury is. It really had my spotty sense tingling. Like, what's going on here? It was odd to me. And, depending on the severity of it, because he played 77 games this season, right? He sat out, the last week. What did he miss? The last 2 games? I think it was Arizona and Colorado, maybe 3. Can't remember. But, so he was hurt, but not hurt enough to sit out. And then obviously he ended up having to sit out in the postseason. We'll find out where the rehab. But so Kane's got to rest. You got to let it heal. But then you got to get in shape, NHL shape. He's obviously in good, normal human being shape. But to be in NHL shape, now you got to push yourself. And when he starts to push himself, is he going to re-aggravate it? I don't know the answer. That's obviously what they're going to do. And then if it doesn't work, sometime later this summer, early into training camp, then they might have to make the decision. Like, it might come back to Kane comes to camp, pushes himself in camp, and sees where he's at. Who knows? Right? He'll be able to push himself a little bit, I would think, in the summertime, but that's where they're at. So was I surprised he was there last night? I was not. At that Kane, he's really into fashion and all that stuff, so it fits right in there. As much as the awards are about that, they're all about, hey, what are you wearing? So I get it. I don't have a problem with it. And away we go. When we come back, we will talk about one of the great stories. Like, I'm not even sure you could find an equivalent in the NHL of what's going on right now in MLB. We'll discuss it next, though, on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is still the #1 company for families who don't want to see dad in his underwear. Come on, we warned you about a heat wave a while ago, and lo and behold, here we are. So call Legacy now before the heat wave convinces dad to cool down in a kiddie pool in your front yard. Yeah, we've still got air conditioners in stock, and yes, you won't have payments or interest for 1 year. Keeping dad from bathing in public during a heat wave. That's how you save your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit FemaleSuperLeague.com.
Roomba, go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Rule number 62. Never miss a free pancake breakfast. It's unheard of and frankly a little upsetting. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
This Sunday, your Edmonton Elks host the Ottawa Red Blacks for Dino Day. Discover pre-game fossil digs, dino egg hunts, and animatronic dinosaurs. Plus, catch the inflatable T-Rex football combine at halftime. Presented by Travel Drumheller.
Tickets and more at GoElks.com.
The Brick Supply and Super Sale is here for all your home outfitting needs. Check out amazing deals on all major appliances, like chest freezer starting at just $199 and washer and dryer packages for under $1,500. Plus, shop incredible deals in other departments, like up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. This summer, the Brick Supply and Super Sale has got you covered, whether you're looking for items as big as a fridge or as small as a kettle. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Positive Friday, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. Hope you're having an awesome day. Should be a great weekend. It's going to be warm, but not 35.7 degrees warm, but still it's going to be nice. Should be a good evening of football. If you like the Elks, want to check out Elks action, they are playing Sunday night at 5 o'clock. All right. So there you have it. The Stingers are on the road. They don't have a home game now until the end of the month. So they'll be on the road for a little bit. Meanwhile, the Riverhawks are on the road this weekend. They'll be playing in Victoria tonight, all through the weekend. Then there's the All-Star break next week. They're back in action at home next Friday. Then they're home. I think it's like a 10-day homestand. They play 9 games in 10 days from the 19th to the 28th. So you'll have lots of opportunity to watch them as well. Now, let's get to our baseball report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. And hey, we love great stories on the show. And right now, there's not more interesting stories than what is happening in major leagues of baseball. As like usually the top pick, the number 1 overall pick, it takes a while for them. They get drafted a little bit younger, right? They go down. Well, Paul Skeens is not that guy. He was the number 1 overall pick last year, right? Ended up winning a national title with LSU after transferring there. And now he's with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Didn't start the year in the majors, but got called up rather quickly. And this guy is absolutely throwing gas. He's 6'6", and he is living up to the hype. I think he was the most hyped pitcher since Strasburg. And so far, it's so good. And I got to imagine that in Pittsburgh, a really good baseball town. And by the way, side note, if any team is going to have a statue made for their superstars, they should go to Pittsburgh and see the statues that they've made, because they are the best that I've seen. No question. Dan Zangrilli joins us. He's the Pirates pre- and post-game host. Dan, how you doing?
Hey, good to be with you, and thank you so much for bumping me in with Brass Bonanza. Quick side note, that was our tarp pulling song in central Pennsylvania 18 years ago when I was coming up through the minor leagues as a play-by-play broadcaster, and I'm not sure that I've heard it since. But love me some Brass Bonanza. What an honor it is to be brought in by Brass Bonanza.
Hey, that's fantastic, man. It's positive Friday music. I grew up as a Hartford Whaler fan, so we use it on the show. And you know what? People love it. It's hard not to tap. It's a toe tapper. There's no question about it.
Absolute pop. Absolute pop for sure.
Now Pittsburgh's had some pretty great players over time. But I don't want to overhype it, but when was the last time, like, do you got to go back to Barry Bonds' young years, Bobby Bonilla, that there was this much excitement over a young player in Pittsburgh?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. The excitement. I mean, Garrett Cole was big when he came up in 2013.
Okay.
Andrew McCutchen, when he debuted in 2009, obviously he's been a transformative player, maybe a fringe Hall of Famer. He'll have his number retired in Pittsburgh. As far as excitement is concerned, boy, a really, really good question. I'll go with actually, I'll go to another sport. I'll throw it in the same vein, in the same sentence as Ben Roethlisberger. And, you know, the question has been thrown around at our radio station. This is as good a start to a career in a rookie season as anything that not only that Big Ben did, but dare we even go as far as talking about 87?
Sidney Crosby, yeah. Well, he had a not bad rookie year for sure. Although he, for Skeens to be not only to make the All-Star game, that's exciting, but to be named the starter, and he's well worth it. Like, this guy, what's impressed you most about him early on in the first 2 months of his MLB career?
You know, it's a question that is asked a lot, and I think it's answered in so many different ways. But I guess, and I've thought about it a lot, because everything that he comes out and does just from a stuff perspective, right? The pitch arsenal that you just mentioned, that he's, you know, averaging 99.8 or 99.9 on his fastball, and he's thrown more 100-mile-an-hour fastballs than any other starter since we started measuring this data in the StatCast era back in 2008. Nobody's done it more than he has.
Yep.
So all of those accolades, that's the stuff that just jumps off the page at you. But you know, I try to think of things in some deeper baseball terms as to the impact that he's really making on the team outside of the sexy stuff that's right there in front of our face. Thinking of it almost like a pitching coach, a manager, or a general manager. What you really value, I think, is veteran ball players, the savviness that they bring, the experience they bring, the slow heartbeat that they have out there on the mound when it's second and third, nobody out, because, you know, baseball happens and there's a little dribbler up the first base line and maybe a wild pitch or a pass ball and some circumstance, shortstop boots something, and then all of a sudden you're in a jam that you necessarily didn't create. Second and third, nobody out, tie game or whatever. Your win is on the line. Do you bat an eyelash? What is your medal out there on the mound? So he's got essentially the demeanor and the leadership qualities of a military general. That's essentially what he was on track to becoming at the Air Force. And we always ask the question, hey, what would you be doing if you weren't playing baseball? Well, Paul Skeens has a pretty good idea of what he's going to do, and he actually knows what he's going to do after he's done. He's going to go to the Air Force, and he's going to ascend up the ranks and serve the United States of America. So you have that acumen out there on the mound, and you've got obviously all of the pitches that take most mortals 3, 4, 5 years of service time to master, to create, to be able to locate and be able to use effectively to read swings once you're in combat, no pun intended. So what's most impressive is he's essentially a 32-year-old mentality and skill set and ability in a 22-year-old body. So that's the most impressive thing for me, that he's a rookie doing veteran-like things that guys that have 10 years in the league are doing. That's the most impressive part for me.
Dan Zangrilli joins us, Pirates pre- and post-game host, talking about rookie sensation who was announced as the starting pitcher for the National League in next Tuesday's All-Star game, Paul Skeens. Now, can you give me a quick little backstory? Because you know what? He's 21 as a rookie. He was the first overall pick last year. Why wasn't he drafted earlier when he was 18, 19, like a lot of other guys? Is he just a late
he
developer?
was at the Air Force.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no. Yeah. Well, yeah, a little bit of both. So he was at the Air Force, so he had his commitment there that he had to fulfill, number one. But he really didn't burst onto the scene. And he was a two-way player, right? He was a pitcher and a catcher, which was more appealing because he didn't have a ton of mileage on that arm. And it later in his college career, it became apparent that he's going to be able to pitch. And I guess late developer is probably the best way and the easiest answer there, because once he gets to LSU, he's in the SEC conference, and he puts himself on the map with the Tigers in the national title run as a transfer there. So I would say, he wasn't on the radar necessarily, and you really didn't know what to do with him coming out of high school or early in his college years. But then they finally figured out, this guy is a moose and he's got, plus stuff. And that's where the home is on the mound. And of course they refined all these different pitches, and it was a no brainer that he go 1-1.
Now I'm looking at the history. He becomes the 5th rookie pitcher to be named the starter. Hideo Nomo was the last one in 1995. You had Fernando Valenzuela in 1981. You had Mark Fidrich with the Tigers in 76, and you got to go way back to Dave Stenhouse in 1962. Now Stenhouse and Fidrich both had some injuries. Valenzuela obviously became an elite player. Nomo struck out 2,000 batters, had multiple no-hitters, had a 12-year pretty solid career. We see that pitch counts and stuff like that, and you've talked about his velocity on Skeens, and I know that people compared him to Strasburg, at least as far as the hype and a guy who many people thought was going to be the next great pitcher. Is there any pitch count? Is there anything like that on Skeens as this season goes along?
That's the mysterious question that everybody in Pittsburgh and I think baseball would like to know. The Pirates don't want to shut Skeens down, if at all possible. He threw about just under 130 innings last year at LSU. Now we know that innings in the college game are far different than innings in Major League Baseball, and all innings aren't created equal. A 3-pitch inning is different than a 28-pitch inning as far as stress and things of that nature. How much time is spent in the stretch versus the windup, things of that nature. So if I'm to guess, and this is a total guess, and this is what teams typically do, especially with coveted assets like someone like Skeens, I think they would like to cap him around 150, 160 innings at most. Along the way, you're probably going to see some starts skipped. They love to keep him on 5 days rest, which is essentially mimicking a 6-man rotation as much as possible. But looking at the math and the calendar, it's going to be tough to keep him under that number without skipping starts. So that's where I would say 160 is the innings limit.
Okay. Now, looking overall at the Pirates and their season, and you know what, they're just under 500. But the thing is, right now in the NL, man, there's not a lot of teams over 500 baseball. They're not really out of it. They're only 2.5, I think it was last I checked, out of the race. What do you make of the race overall in the NL? And do you think the Pirates could they be adding some pieces here?
That's another pain point here in Pittsburgh. The team has struggled mightily offensively. They've been woefully under league average in just about every category, among the worst, in fact. And the Pirates have lost some mind-numbing starts that Skeens has made, where he's gone 6 and 7 innings respectively in each. He's given up a run, and they still wind up losing.
Yeah.
The cost to add offense is going to be significant. They've been tied to Taylor Ward of the Angels. They're kicking the tires, as I understand, but is this the year that they exhaust what is going to be, I think, a higher price than in other years to try to add offense? You look at offense around the league, it's down significantly. Everybody wants to add it. There's going to be some teams that are maybe further along in their development arc or maybe more serious competitors that I think are going to pay a really steep price for that. So to the Pirates, especially as it pertains to short-term rentals, are they going to engage in that game and try to push all the chips to the center of the table as this is the year? No, I don't think so, because Skeens, along with his rotation buddy and Jared Jones, another rookie that's sort of taken the league by storm but has been undershadowed by Skeens. Mitch Keller has been really good for this Pirates rotation. They're under control for a long time. So I don't think that this is the year that the Pirates go all in and shoot every bullet. But I do believe that, if this were 2025, 26, 27, that's more of a window where you'll see them far more aggressive in adding short-term pieces to try to address areas of need. That's not to say that they won't make moves, but it has to be the right moves, guys that are going to be in a Pirates uniform beyond 24, maybe even 2025 for them to probably expend what is going to be a significant price tag, especially as it pertains to prospect capital. Pirates have a good farm system. They value those pieces. All small market teams do. So they're going to part ways with prospects in a very strategic fashion, especially when the ask on the other end of the phone, more often than not, is high quality pitching depth within a minor league system. The Pirates are going to be really hard to press to have that pride out of their hands.
Dan Zangrilli joins us. So, Dan, if you look at it and you say, hey, maybe this is not the year, like right now, the Phillies are well ahead. I think they're 6-7 games up on the Dodgers. Are they clearly the class in the NL, or are the Dodgers just that team that they're like, man, we're kind of just, doing enough to get through and we'll be fine? Or are the Phillies the clear number one team in the NL in your eyes?
I'm never going to sleep on Atlanta either.
Okay.
Even though that they're hurt, right? Missing Strider and Acuna is obviously that's the 1-2 hitter quitter that can put anybody back. But I'm never going to count Atlanta out. Philadelphia, yes, for me, especially if they're aggressive and they add, which I think they will. I don't know if the Mets thing is for real. The Pirates took 2 out of 3 from New York, so I'm going to go ahead and say no. Milwaukee is obviously impressive. They're young and hungry and talented. Pirates just took 2 out of 3 from them. But Philly, for me, sure, yeah, that's the front runner. San Diego could always sneak in there. There's so much talent, but they've never really been able to put all the pieces together. Is this the year that the stars align for them and they get hot? Are they the Arizona Diamondbacks of 2024? That could be a potential sleeper team. And then, yeah, I mean, you've got, like you mentioned earlier, it's just a wide open race. Somebody could sneak in at the last moment with a win streak, get that 84th win as the Diamondbacks did. And then if you've got the pitching in truncated series, you can go ahead and find yourself in the NLCS really quickly. And then it's anybody's game from there. But front runner, I agree with you. Philadelphia for me.
Awesome, Dan. We really appreciate the rundown. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the hype, the Skeens hype. Now, does he have like a moniker? What's his nickname? Is it really the gas station or something?
I think everybody is going with whatever they want.
Okay.
Let's put it this way: it's probably whatever Livy Dunn calls him. How about that?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Livy's got he's got seniority, so that's fair. I totally can understand it. Dan, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks.
There you go. That's Dan Zangrilli. He's the pre and post game for the Pirates. And Gregor, why are you talking Pirates? Well, because their rookie pitcher, Paul Skeens. We like to follow the big stories. Paul Skeens, look at his numbers. Like, this guy is on fire. He's a rookie. You don't see rookies come in. He's 6-0. He's got a 1.9 ERA. He's only given up 48 hits so far this season. 7 of them home runs, right? His walk sprinting pitch is under 1. It's at 0.92. Teams are hitting 202. This guy's a rookie. He is an absolute force. Now, I mentioned the other guys, Nomo and Valenzuela, those two, and you got to go back to 95 and 81, the last time you had a rookie pitcher starting the All-Star game. Like, this guy's a unit. But the key is going to be, because it's happened 4 other times, the first 2, injury issues, right? Steven Strasburg, he was highly touted. I remember when they held him out late in the season, Strutty still rattled about that because of pitch count. Now, the Pirates most likely might not be. They're only 2.5 out, so it's not crazy to think that they could be in it. We'll see. Some of the other teams are starting to wake up. but would they have to rest him? You heard from Dan say 160 innings is what he thinks might be the threshold for Skeens. So something to watch for. But man, when you see a young talent like that come up to be mowing down Major League Baseball hitters with such ease, and the guy's throwing gas. As they mentioned, since the StatsCast era, since they started tracking it, no pitcher has thrown as many 100 mile an hour pitches as Skeens has so far. Crazy. And we're not even halfway through the season. So, guy is throwing heat. 241 833 401 1440. We had some people wondering about Kane. So here's my question to you, the listeners. Just go off of gut feel. I'm telling you, I've had conversations, so I'll tell you what I know is that the Kane and his camp, they're going to try to rest rehab first. Do you think Kane, does the rest rehab work, or is it ultimately going to result in him needing surgery later on this summer during preseason before the regular season begins? Do you think Kane is going to be on the opening night roster healthy? 833-401-1440. Very simple. Kane in, Kane out. I'm curious, what does your gut tell you? What do you think? I'll give you my thoughts in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll take a quick break. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We're committed
Welcome back as we continue on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook on a positive Friday. Hope you're having an awesome day. It's always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, if you want to try something new, use the promo code SUMMER. You know how to spell it. And you'll get a free $50 casino play at PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to our Olympic report brought to you by Action Electrical, where, of course, you want savings on solar for either your home or your commercial building. Do it with actionelectrical.net. As Olympic gold medalist, coming up on just about 20 years since she won that gold. The first Canadian ever to win a gold in cycling in the Summer Olympics for women. Lauriane Munzer joins us once again, 2 weeks away officially from the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. And Lauriane, how you doing?
Doing awesome. Happy Friday, Jason.
Good. Hey, happy Friday to you. So now the topic I had today is both for, I think, athletes, but I think it really could work same for just the average person. Doesn't matter what your job is, and the power of routine. And I know some people can kind of get bored in a routine potentially, but if you want to be successful, specifically athletically, but if you want to be successful, I think in your job, having a routine can really make you more successful. Like if you look at your post-athletic career, having a routine still probably helps you, no?
Oh, it's essential. It's totally essential. And also part of the routine is having excitement, adventure, variety, and challenge. Mastering your mornings is huge. Mastering your evening is also huge. So I take a look at those as the bookends. So if you have a great start to the day, it doesn't really matter what goes on. You're going to be able to bounce and flex and move and change and adjust. Your routine at the end of the night is really important because it sets up what goes on the next day. And if you can get a little bit of a head start, I think you're like a million miles ahead. And it's really huge. So it's also too, like, what is your intention? What is your intention for the day? Do you ever think about how your day is going to go? Most people don't. I think 97% of the population don't. But when you kind of do a pre-run through of what you want to happen, 9 out of 10 times you get pretty darn close.
Yeah, that is interesting about it. And now part of that comes with like your day is the self-talk factor from an athlete perspective, but even as a human. And I've been reading some books lately on the power of the brain and how we talk to ourselves. I remember my one of my late grandmas, she'd always be like, "Oh, Lillian, here's," and she'd call herself stupid sometimes. And if you keep doing that, it perpetrates, right?
It does.
If you say, "Oh, I'm lazy. Oh, I can't do it. I can't. Well, then you won't. Right. What's the right, and this might be a hard question, but is there a right amount of self-talk? And is there a way to get started in self-talk? Not just, for an athlete, but also I think for our average audience.
Oh, there's a couple of different things you can do. One, it's never too late to start. You can start anytime. You could start any time of the day. And it begins with I am. If you're not sure even where to start, go and write down what is it that you don't like or what is it that you don't want, because it's easier to default to the negative than it is to the positive. If that's the natural way that you've been going, that's okay, fine. Write it out and then play the game of opposites. Flip something to the opposite and start with I am, because whatever you say that follows I am is what it's going to be.
Right.
So it's like the example, I am stupid. Oh my gosh, I'm stupid. Well, of course, stupid's going to follow you. But what if you said, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm getting smarter.
Yeah.
Like I never thought I was smart. So it's like, yeah, I am smart. I am intelligent, right? I wasn't fast. I am fast. I am effective. And there's just little things like that. Like I was following Serena Williams a while ago. And one of the things she had a notebook, and that brought me to, I brought in my notebook of what I brought. Like, And it's like, if you write what you're going to become, and if you read it, you recite it, you write it, you read it, you recite it, it's going to come true.
Because that was your book that you had from the Olympics.
It is. It's a small moleskin book.
Yeah.
It fits in my pocket. It fit in my tool bag. It fit everywhere. And it was really easy to find because it's small and there's a texture. And I studied the women that I was up against at the World Cups because I knew 12 of them were going to go to the Olympics.
Yes.
So it's easier to refer to my book and go, Jenny Reed, she's solid, a good sprinter, tactically does the same thing. 1 lap to go, she opens it up. And I'm like, okay, I don't have to go and rack through my memory of going, what did Jenny Reed do? What did Jenny Reed do? I just open my book and go, oh yeah, tactically she does the same thing. And it was like a walk in the park. I knew what to expect. But then I also wrote.
Yeah, the Venezuela lady had a dirty bugger.
Oh my gosh. Daniela Lauriane was wild. You never knew what she was going to do. She'd bang into you. She'd take you up to the top of the track. She'd ride you down. She'd even try and crash you out. It was just
ruthless.
Absolutely.
Oh, I like her. Did you get along with her off of the track?
Well, funny enough, she was my roommate in 2003 when we lived in Switzerland. Of course we got along. But then when we were on the track, it was a whole different story.
Yeah. Well,
Canada versus Venezuela.
Yeah, well, now it's competitive.
It is.
For sure.
It is. But when you start.
Did she see her? Did you ever show her what you wrote about her?
Gosh, no. I didn't show anybody this. This was like tucked away, the secret weapon.
Yeah. Well, and so you had a scouting report in there, but then there was also, you talked about, okay, here's, and I like the fact that you write it out, because I think a lot of people listening out there, if you have a goal, but if you write it down, like I know there are certain, if you put a note to yourself, I'm working out, and you stick it on your mirror or somewhere or the fridge door, I'm not eating junk food. And you put that on every cupboard, it okay, now you might not stop right away, but at least you're telling yourself, well, hey, I said I'm not going to do it. I've written it down. I'm not going to do it. I shouldn't do it. And it would actually be more beneficial. Because I remember putting notes when I started my company. I put notes on the mirror I had some goals that I wanted to attain, as far as I want this to happen within the next 6 months. And these are the steps. And I was very bullet point, and I live by myself. So I'm like, no one else is going to, and then it got to the point where I didn't have people over very often, but if I did, I'm like, I don't care if they see it, they can ask me what it means.
Yep.
Right. So
I take the crayons and write on the mirror.
Oh, I never did that.
And people go, what's that message on the mirror? Because I do the first letter of each word so that only I know what it is. And then I don't have to explain it.
So smart.
And sometimes I can't remember what it is because it's too long. But yeah, it's just those little notes are seeds that you're planting. And they're called seeds of habit.
Yes.
Because it takes a while for it to take root, for it to start growing, and then for it to pop up and show up in your world. And it's like, okay, it does take 21 days. Some will take a lot less time. Some will take a lot more time. And what the difference is the amount of time and focus and repetition that you're doing it with. And writing it down, oh my gosh, I tell all of my athletes, I tell all of my clients, you're halfway there when you write it down.
Really?
And the more detail that you write it down, then it's like the universe knows where to send it to you. Like you go to Amazon. Everybody goes on Amazon, .ca.com, whatever.
Yeah.
They place their order. Boom. It's the same thing. Write your order, place your order. The more detail you're going to get, the less surprises, the less rug you're going to get pulled out from underneath you, and it'll be clearer path. Okay, you're going to have to bounce and flex and move, but you're going to have a clear path.
Now, what about making sure that it's realistic? Or is unrealistic okay? Like, let's say because I had someone say, hey, my 10-year-old says he wants to play in the NHL. Great. They're 10, they're great to have dreams. Do you write that down, or is that too far? Because it'd be like, hey, I want to would it be better to have more of a short-term goal rather than one that's 10 years away?
A goal should be the crazy one. Absolutely.
Okay.
Otherwise it's a smart goal, and smart goals are dumb. They're not goals, they're plans. They really are.
Smart goals are dumb?
Absolutely. The only good thing about a smart goal is the first and last letter. It's simple, and there's a timeline on it. Otherwise, it's a dumb goal. It's a plan. Because a 5% increase is not a goal, Jason.
Right.
It's not. It's just...
Now, what if you have a goal to say, I want to lose 3 inches around my waist?
Oh my gosh, that's phenomenal. Are you doing it right now? Do you know how to do it?
Yes, I am actually.
No, not you.
Oh
but-
yeah, no, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was my
Yeah, yeah.
seriously, that was my goal. Start. I you know, it's a very simple one, but I adhere to, and I've always wanted to get under once in my life, but I adhere to the. If
Why
you're-
not stay under?
Well, I got to get back there, but it's, you know, life gets in the way sometimes.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, well,
You
it
just
did.
haven't decided.
Hey, it's fair point. It's a fair point. Fair point. I know why. It's because honestly, I was like, I like sweets too much.
That's not a problem.
Oh, well, it is if you like them too much. But you know, it's like anything.
But it all depends.
Well, when you like sweets too much and then you stop exercising to the level
Oh,
that you used to, so it's a combination of things, right?
Okay,
So you
the
gotta
input
stop
and the
them.
output. We
Yes,
talked about this
yes,
last week or
yes.
the week before. It's like, no, dude, come on. The input's got to be
Yes,
based on the
100%.
output.
Like I know why it's all of a sudden there. Like I don't need a reminder of it. But so I just started on July 1st, and the one thing when I do set it,
Okay,
something,
11 days
I
in.
can be pretty good at it. I have
Yep.
no problem with it. Like I don't like it, but like I said, I'm not having any sugar this month, and to just cut it off. And I'm like, I'm out now. Natural sugars, of course, I can have fruit, but I mean, like for me, because I was snacking way too much, so I'm getting rid of all of it, and then I'll put it back in, and I'll have a piece of birthday cake here or there, no problem. But I found. And plus, I want to see instant results. So if I cut that out and I get back working out and I'm doing all the stuff and I'm sleeping, well, I was always sleeping decent, but if I'm doing all of that, I will see that I knew what a realistic goal is on weight gain and weight loss in inches. Because I do inches, I just don't do weight.
Yep.
Because weight to me can be very misleading for people. Because if you start training again and all of a sudden you build up a little bit muscle, even though you're losing
muscle,
fat,
yeah.
the muscle weighs more than fat, and you're like, oh my God, I haven't lost any weight, but you look way better. So to me, it's more about inches.
It is. That's a great way. Some people it is by pounds, but then it's got to be very specific. And going for a big goal like the NHL is like awesome. Go for it. Go for the stupid. Go for the ridiculous. Go for the blow it out of proportion and everybody calls you crazy. Absolutely. The part of it is how are you going to get there is the base camps.
Yeah.
Those are the different levels. So to go to the Olympics, you may have a 4-year plan. Beautiful. But it's what you do with those 1 year, then 2 year, 3 year, and then the 4th year. That is part and parcel of it. The plan may change, but the goal will never change. If you just say, oh, I want to play, what's one of the first levels in hockey? Or baseball?
Initiation. Yeah.
Okay, initiation. Yeah, that's only going to be motivational, inspirational for a little bit.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. So he can have the big picture goal, but then there's still then you have other steps to help you get to your goal.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's part and parcel of the journey.
And the other one, on that, having the plan, writing it down, are there other things you'd recommend other than just writing it down that helps?
Absolutely. Visualization. Spend a minute visualizing yourself in whatever it is that you're wanting to do, like cycling. I always saw myself racing. You saw in my book here.
So I can visualize myself in the gym.
Yes.
I probably have a better chance of getting in the gym.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Even at the dinner table, what's on your plate? Can you put together a plate?
Visualize a healthy meal? Oh, yeah.
Can you do your whole day plan
Oh, yeah.
of what are you eating? When are
Mhm.
you eating? I used
Yep.
to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snack in between, snack in between, snack in between. So I was always grazing, and then my sugar levels were up and down and
Right.
you're
Yeah.
feeling awful.
Yeah. I see. I don't love the long stretches with no food. That doesn't work for me.
That's hard.
I don't like it. Good for people that can do it. I can't do it. Those people who don't eat until lunchtime every day, I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I'd be hangry. I'd be the worst. Like I got to eat pretty much quickly. I eat a lot of the same things. I like breakfast. I'm a big believer. If you have a healthy breakfast, you got a way better chance for the day. So
Great chance.
eggs and avocado and a little toast with some natural peanut butter to go to, and then the old yogurt parfait with a bunch of chia seeds and blueberries and collagen. And
I'm coming over to your house for breakfast tomorrow.
dude,
That sounds amazing.
It's like breakfast is like I don't cook like I'll barbecue, but I don't cook a lot of dinner and lunches. But breakfast, like I'm mixing bacon every now and then because I'm like, oh, it's great.
We did some barbecuing last night, chicken, and we did some pork rounds, and I was into it this morning. It was like, it's done. It's ready.
And I'm a big believer in reading because I like sweet too. So now I read stuff that's somewhat healthy. So I saw this the other day and I tried it and it was unbelievable. So here's what I recommend to anybody. So you put in a cup of cottage cheese, right? Then you put in, I think it was a third cup of cocoa.
Ooh, cocoa.
Cocoa. put in some chocolate chips, right? You mix it all in. Good. Then you put it in the microwave. You heat it up. Then when you come out of the microwave, you drizzle peanut butter over top of it, and it's like a chocolate peanut butter lava cake, and it is unbelievable. And so it's got a lot of protein in it too. So no salt added cottage cheese, I should mention. So I recommend anybody try that. It was amazing. I love all those things.
Decadent.
But it was really good. And so you can, because I'm like, I can have sweets because I need something sweet. So this way it'll be like somewhat healthier sweet, right? Like you get the no sugar added Chip-Its and all that stuff. So
oh my gosh, that's so good. That's so good. I'm just plain yogurt and blueberries.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's so good.
Well, frozen, I read up on it that frozen blueberries are actually better than regular blueberries.
Why is that? Do you know?
Something about when you freeze them, it keeps the nutrients longer.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I have no idea if he's right or not, but I'm like, hey, it's less of a mess for me. I don't have to wash them all the time, right?
They're already done. They're ready to go.
There you go. I like it.
But it's true, Jason. If you write it down, whatever your goal is, like whatever you write down, you're halfway there of it showing up in your world. And then when you go out and you act on it, if you're looking at it, I had a yellow sheet of paper on the back of my door, win Olympic gold. It was the last thing I saw when I went to bed. So it was top of mind. And when I opened my door, guess what? It was top of mind.
Yeah.
And the more that you can just bring it in, set your watch. If you've got an alarm like that goes off every hour, every half an hour, just do a minute visualization and boom, you're off to the races. Because it's going to happen.
Next Friday, we're going to talk, because as we get close to the Olympics, we're going to talk about the importance of confidence and how you instill it as an athlete, which can be, of course, into life, but obviously the athletics. Lauriane, great stuff. We really appreciate it.
Great talking with you.
That's Lauriane Munzer joins us every Friday here on Sports 1440. We'll get a break. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate coming up after 3 o'clock. We got Sean Brown, Cam Jansen, and much, much more. But first, we get to the Con Man. Sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance. You want to go on the high bar insurance? Go to highstreetinsurance.com. They will set up a package that works for your business to ensure you get all of the needs that you need to be safe and secure. highstreetinsurance.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 6 in the CFL rolls on tonight. You got Calgary in Winnipeg taking on the Bombers. Kickoff 6:30. Tomorrow, Saskatchewan's in BC. And then on Sunday, the Edmonton Elks hosting the Ottawa Red Blacks down at Commonwealth. That one gets going at 5 o'clock. Some news from the association, a little surprising. New York Knicks star Jaylen Brunson agreeing to a 4-year, $156 million extension. According to his agent, $113 million less guaranteed than he's eligible to receive next year. In the majors, the Toronto Blue Jays are in action tonight, kicking off a weekend series down in the desert, taking on the Diamondbacks. First pitch set for 7:40. Those two teams will meet tomorrow at 8:10. Then Sunday at 2:10. You can hear both those games here on Sports 1440 radio feed. Elsewhere, Athletics take on the Phillies. Tigers host the Dodgers. The Yankees are in Baltimore. Red Sox up against the Royals. The Pirates travel to Chicago to take on the White Sox. Astros host the Rangers, and the Cubbies in St. Louis. The Edmonton Riverhawks on the road, continuing the road trip, taking on Victoria tonight just after 8 o'clock. And the Edmonton Stingers, 2 games over the weekend, both on the road. They'll take on Scarborough tomorrow at noon, and then at 1 o'clock on Sunday, the Niagara River Lions. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Sean Brown, as well as former NHLer Cam Jansen. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers. Or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest. CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Rule number 41, never challenge a goose in the Bow Valley. They run this town and they know it. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules.
And great.
And if you're looking to add a little
stuff, we really
fun,
appreciate it.
Great talking with you.
Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Tim Hortons Camp Day is Wednesday, July 17th. When you buy a hot or iced coffee, 100% of proceeds help change the lives of youth in need. See you at Tim's July 17th. And don't forget to upsize your coffee for a bigger donation at participating restaurants in Canada.
Just after 3 o'clock, welcome back. Positive Friday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta at PlayAlberta.ca. We got a lot of texts to get to. Oh, some good recommendations. We always have food ones. Also, our question of the day in our email inbox is very simple. So, Evander Kane, do you expect him in the lineup on opening night? Will he be ready? And I'm not talking trade because I don't think that's realistic. I think he's either going to be healthy and cleared, the rehab and rest will work, or it won't, and they might have to look at the surgery aspect. So which one? I'm just curious what's your gut telling you right now. Fuzzy says surgery, boys. I'm guessing the earliest will be January of 2025 from G. Kane's going to be placed on LTIR and be back for the playoffs from Jeff. Kane will be out to start. I think it might benefit him and the team. He needs to heal. He's clearly been banged up for a few years. Rest can help. Guys, TGIF, if there is a chance in hell Kane can heal without surgery, that should always be the initial decision. His health always comes first from Mark. Oh, 100%, Mark. I've always been saying that. I never rush. I would never say, oh, this guy has to have surgery. A, I'm not a doctor. B, there's players that can rehab without surgery. And it's always better to not have to go under the knife. Always. Or I guess the laser now with arthroscopic, whatever you're using. But yeah, agree wholeheartedly. It's not good. Hey, guys, it looks like they've already decided on rest and recover, which means he won't be training his usual pace this offseason. I say he won't be on the opening day roster because of that at a minimum from E-Town Man. So there you go. Now, we'll get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cool. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. Of course, Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, has cerebral palsy and has always wanted to be on radio, but Cam, unfortunately, due to cerebral palsy, doesn't speak clearly enough. However, now with the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life. And here's the 2-minute warning.
Positive Friday. Here we go. We are looking for Owen. Got that there, Gregor. Looking for Owen. Cam writes, I wonder if Owen will be walking out of Commonwealth Stadium Sunday night. Owen. Everyone knows Owen. Big football fan. In fact, he's been to all 4 Edmonton Elks games. But dare we say, we will because that's how we roll. Sunday's afternoon affair with the Ottawa Redblacks is huge. Don't get much bigger than that, other than, say, the Grey Cup. Gregor said it earlier this week. 8 and 32. We'll repeat it again to you. Get the optimized listening effect. 8 and 32. That's Elks coach and GM Chris Jones' record, now in his 3rd season. And going into Sunday's tilt against the Redblacks, who are 2-2 this season, Owen, remember, him could very well see another loss. Oh, I know. I know Jones talked to Gregor earlier this week and said the 4 losses were very close, even losing in the last play of the game. Jones also said the Elks lead the league in a few special teams categories. Gold stars around for the coaching staff, maybe, but the Elks are still without a win. Winning, it puts people in the seats, and for any professional sports franchise, having fans in the stands is the fundamental core component for financial stability. Winning does that. The Elks, once the Canadian Football League franchise flagship, are a mere shadow of what they were. We hear the club will be sold to a private owner. I have to think the board of directors would do everything they can to have a winning football club for a prospective buyer. And with Jones holding both roles of coach and general manager, who makes the call if making a change in both positions, I hate to be Donnie Downer here, but I am concerned about the Edmonton Elks on several levels. The biggest is winning games. I will be there Sunday looking for Owen, especially after the game. You know who I mean, right? 0-5, the 2-minute warning. Gregor Show, Monday, Friday, Sports 1440. Have a great weekend, Grandpa.
Owen. Or Elks fans are hoping it's not the case. 0-5, not ideal. 1-4, way better. We'll see if the losing streak will end on Sunday. A few other quick ones, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, Edmonton's going to do a Vegas with Kane, and the following year they will change the rule. Patrick, the land surveyor. Well, here's the thing. Well, if they were doing a Kane, then in theory he would play half the season, and I know people keep saying that, but again, we should point out Mark Stone has had surgery 3 years in a row. 1 year he came back. They were in first place when he had surgery. He returned late in the season. They missed the playoffs. Then he had surgery the last 2 years, returned for the playoffs. 1 year they won the cup. 1 year they lost in round 1. So he's had surgery 3 times. They missed the playoffs once. They lost in round 1 once, and they won the Stanley Cup. Like, I don't, and I've said it all along, I don't discount that he had surgery. Did they maybe hold him out an extra week or two so he could get healthier before the playoffs? Yes. And I don't really, most times you're always yelling, don't rush him back. Don't rush him back. Except if you can put him on the roster so you can't have LTIR space, right? Like, I get it. If Kane has surgery at some point this season, I can tell you without question, if it gets to April 1st, Oiler fans will be saying, hold him out, hold him out. But maybe you shouldn't if you were one who didn't like that Vegas held him out. I don't question ever that Stone had surgery. I never questioned that. I said all along, he had surgery. You don't just make up surgeries. Doctors are signing off and this is all the paperwork. He had the surgery. I never questioned it. And they just had the luxury of holding him out an extra week, not rushing him back, which is what most times that's what you want to do. But it would be interesting if Kane, who clearly was at the ESPYs last night, they're going with the rest rehab first. I'm curious when the decision will be made if he's healthy enough to play or not. Will it be in training camp? Will it be in preseason? Does he have to play a preseason game? Because you can rest in rehab, but then will he have enough time to train properly to be in NHL shape? Right? Like no NHL player is out of shape. They're just not in NHL shape. There's a difference, right? Out of shape is a lot of us average Jack and Jills. Unfortunately, way too many, right? Our society is the most unhealthy physically it's ever been in the history of the world. It's not great. So we could get into that whole thing one day. Wouldn't it be wonderful you had a government who actually said, hey, food industry, be better. Right? And it's not just fast food. Go to the grocery store and read the ingredients and some of the things that you've been eating for a long time and be like, well, what's in that? Right? They're like, you better wash your fruit with water and baking soda for 15 minutes to get rid of all the pesticides. What? So, anyhow, it's always the same thing with that. Hey, guys, Kane is obviously hurt. He couldn't even laugh at Nikki Glazer's joke about McDavid at the ESPYs. LTIR for sure. Good sense of humor, Darren. I like it. Yeah. I'm sure inside is because hey, Nikki Glazer, she is funny. Honestly, if she's up there, you better have a thick skin. Right? You've seen her at Roe, she's amazing. And that joke, I know it hits hard for Oilers fans, but don't take it personal. Sometimes the truth jokes are the ones that hit the worst. Because you're like, God, it is true. So there you go. Hey, Gregor, the fact that McDavid wins the ESPYs but doesn't win the Hart, what do you make of it? Well, completely different awards. The Hart is a regular season award. Being the best player the last year includes the playoffs. And obviously, Connor McDavid was very good. He won the Conn Smythe without winning the Stanley Cup. I don't think Connor McDavid deserved to win the Hart Trophy in the regular season. He didn't have a better year than McKinnon or Kucherov. He wasn't more valuable to his team than either one of those two in the regular season. And that's fine. Not sure he cares. Hey guys, Elks Brats Sunday at tailgate. No preservatives, just beer from Army Darryl. Hey, you know what? I will say this. Have you been cons? Have you seen the tailgating? It's growing all the time. That's the one. Despite all the losing, the tailgating has grown here the last few years. It's awesome to see. You should, they had to expand to get, because you can reserve your spot now. And I know Darryl and them, I remember because he texted us a while ago and he's like Spot Crosby, 87. So, you know what? I think they're up to 100 now. And hopefully the demand keeps growing because that's what you want. People there, they make it an event. It's more fun. You have, I still remember when I went to Green Bay for the first time. And my wife, who's not a real big drinker, but so we did this back on 1260, and we had a group of people. We went into Chicago. You had a few days. You did some jazz stuff. We went to Wrigley Field. Then you had the Bears game on the Sunday afternoon against the Lions, and the Oilers play the Hawks at night, Sunday night in Chicago. And then Monday, we took a bus to Green Bay for Monday Night Football as the Packers and the Vikings. And it was unreal. The bus ride was only, I think, 2 hours. And it was like a luxury liner, so it was fine. We got off and we had some tailgating passes in one of their events, and it's all like food and beverage included. It was amazing. And then you walk. So to give you a guideline, it was basically where this party place was set up would have been Clark State. You know where Clark Stadium is? in conjunction to Commonwealth, if you were about another block away, so it wasn't that far, but there was just that many spaces of people tailgating. And so as we walked from the kind of controlled area through the tailgating place, there's these guys, and they're obviously regulars. They had an old ambulance that they had gutted the back of it, and it literally was like a bar. And they were serving up Jaggers to anybody. And my wife's walking by, this guy, hey, would you guys like a shot of Jaeger? And my wife's like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, honey, that's what they do at tailgating. And she's like, what kind of glorious place is this? We're going to the game and they're just handing out Jaggers. And so, you know what? That's like, tailgating's fun. People welcoming everybody. It's socialized. I think it's fantastic. It's the one thing, if you're going to the game on Sunday, you should walk on the east side of the building and just see all the tailgaters.
Yeah, Gregor, 200 stalls.
West side, excuse me.
West side, right when you're coming in. Well, I guess depends where you come from. Maybe you're walking down Little Italy.
Now?
200. You got the K97 area. You got the bands, Spirit of Edmonton. Lots of people handing out food. I had the same experience at Qualcomm Stadium back in the day in San Diego, where the Qualcomm was a circle and it was just parking lot around it.
Yep.
So you just walk around and, you're talking to people, talking to the fans, and they make an event. They bring their RVs. They're out there all day. They get there early in the morning. If it's a primetime game, they're there for the entirety of the day. I don't know how they get into the stadium sometimes because they're pretty, well, let's just say it. They're hammered and they're having a good time. So yeah, it's a really good time. I first kind of experienced that in the CFL down in Calgary on the Labor Day Classic. Even though we're wearing green and gold, the fans there treated us super well. It's really good to see what the Edmonton Elks are doing. You got to make it more than just the game. Get down there early. It's kind of family friendly. There's lots of games for the kids to play as well. And you get in there and watch some good football, hopefully. But yeah, the tailgate this year, top notch for sure.
Yeah, so check it out if you're going. The weather on Sunday right now, everything looks great. It should be good. Hey guys, speaking of tailgate parties, me and my family were down in Anaheim in springtime. We caught an Angels game when we were leaving. Took the wrong exit and out the tailgate party area. I couldn't believe how many people were doing it. They were just having like campfires in the parking lot. Food, kids were running all over. It was unreal from Clay. Oh yeah, it's a different world. It's something where, like, imagine if you would start to tailgate. Now, the problem is wintertime. But what if you tailgated? Which is kind of, I guess, what the Moss Pit was, but not really. But what if you had like a tailgate area in May and June for winter games? Oh. Right, that massive parking lot right behind Rogers, so directly north by the community rink. What if you just turned that into a... Now, I know there's a lot of parking spaces there. But what if that was like a tailgate place? Could you imagine that for a playoff game? It'd be unbelievable. So, I'm just saying that just because it hasn't been a part of it doesn't mean it can't be. That's why inventions are there. Because you start something new that was never done before. Just saying. 3:20 when we return. Cam Jansen, the St. Louis Blues, they made a few deals. Are they better? Can they compete for the final wildcard spot? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Any
327. Welcome back. Pause of Friday. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. It is the Gregor Show, as always, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get tickets tonight for Lotto Max. $50 million up for grabs. Good luck at PlayAlberta.ca as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And in a time where everything seems to be going up, McDonald's has lowered their prices on all coffees. Small start now at only $1. Get yours today. Double, single, whatever you like. Cream, sugar, black. They got it all. McDonald's coffee at a lower price right now. So we welcome in former NHLer. He is, of course, one of the co-hosts of the Cam and Strick podcast, also on the Blues analyst. Cam Jansen joins us once again. Cam, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on?
Oh, hey, it's summertime. There's lots happening. I know in your city, big baseball. Are you a big Cards fan? Do you go to games?
Well, yeah, we go to games here. You know, my parents took me to Cardinals games when I was a kid, and, you know, I didn't know what to do. But when my parents took me to a Blues game and we sat up close, I stared at Tony Twist and Kelly Chase, and I pointed at him and I said, I want to be that when I grow up. So there was a big difference between going to Cards games and Blues games when I was a kid.
Yeah, a little bit more aggressive sport, one over the other. So,
yeah, it's quick pace, man.
Oh,
quick
God.
pace. That's what I like.
Yeah, that's good. The Blues, let's talk about their offseason. Last year, I know they tried to trade Torrey Krug. It didn't happen. He still got the no move clause. You know, they did sign Buchnevich to the big extension. That's really kind of been their big deal. They did bring in Radek Fox and Matthew Joseph here. But what do you make of the Blues? Are they better? Are they the same? What do you make of them from now compared to last year?
I think they're going to be okay. I mean, they were teetering on being a playoff team last year. You got Ryan Suter. That how he's going to be. He's on a light contract, $750. I know there's a lot of bonuses involved with that, but I think that's going to, help solidify maybe that back end a little bit, which is their worried point. But they got some guys that stepped up to the plate, like Jake Neighbors. What's he going to do this year? Is he going to be a 30-goal scorer? Is he going to be a 35-goal scorer? Was that some sort of just an anomaly last year, what he did? So there's certainly question marks one way or the other. Well, you got your goaltender. Colton Parayko had a hell of a year last year. He's back in action doing his thing. I think Torrey Krug could still be very, very effective, especially on the power play and things like that. So, no, I think they're a playoff team. How far they go in the playoffs, I don't know. But the problem is, there's so many of these big free agents, man. Like they're not signing in St. Louis. They're not signing in Edmonton. They're signing in certain places like Florida, like Nashville, maybe some of the original 6 teams. So, all these other teams do have a problem when it comes to signing big free agents. I'm not saying the Blues are trying to do any of that kind of stuff, but just, in reality, looking forward in the future, that could be a problem. You need to be able to draft well, and you need to be able to sign some guys and show them that the city's great, and so they want to re-sign. They're kind of like what Buchnevich and a couple other guys have done. But I think they're going to be okay. But they didn't do what Nashville did and things like that. But I think they might be turning the same in a better direction. The Blues fans, man, they're used to watching playoff hockey, and it hasn't happened in a little bit, and they're getting a little bit worried. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, Edmonton's a good team right now. So the guys are signing here for cheap, right? You go back, Hyman they got, but now Henrique stays for lower. The Arvidsson signs here on a decent deal. So I'm a big believer. If you have a winning team, you got much better chance of signing guys. Like I know everybody's, doing cartwheels over Nashville. I'm not sold on Nashville. They made a big splash. I'm not sure there's going to, now I like the Brady Shea one, but I'm not sold that the Marchessault Stamkos are going to be as big a home runs as some people are thinking. Like Stamkos is going to, he's been unreal on the power play, but if you look at his 5-on-5 numbers last year, they kind of slowed down. And so I'll be curious about that. The Blues are a team that, Doug Armstrong said that they're kind of in a retool stage, Cam, but they've got too many good players to really be a bottom team. So are they going to take one more year and just be competitive? And then do you think they'll move some guys off? Or are they going to try to rebuild while remaining somewhat competitive and not being like Chicago where, the season's over before it begins.
No. Can't do that down here, man. Can't do that. You got to stay competitive as much as you can. It's more like, it's not a complete rebuild. It's more like a retool is what he would say. And I think they did an okay job with that. And I think guys are going to, there's certain guys that need to have a better year, that are capable of having a better year. And I'm sure that's what they're looking at. But no, look, man, we can't deal with the 5 years with, winning, having 80 points or 75 points. Like that doesn't cut it here in St. Louis. We need to be competitive. You need to be entertaining. You need to be able to draw people from Fenton, Missouri, that, it takes 30 minutes to get downtown or whatever the case is. You need to still attract those kind of people to come down and spend money at Enterprise Center. So we're in a different spot than a Chicago, which they're probably going to be, you got Connor Bedard, you got guys, even if they're bad, people are going to come watch one way or the other. So St. Louis is in a different spot, but I think they are going to be competitive. They do have a good core. You still got Kyrou. You still got Thomas, who had a great year last year. Kyrou could certainly step up as far as his points are concerned. Although you can look at what he did last year and say, hey, man, he worked on his defense. Like if you talk to all these guys, like when you really adjust your game, when you're a pure goal scorer, and you're like, no, I got to focus on getting the puck out of the zone, doing all the little things in the D zone. It slows you down offensively a little bit. So I'm going to give him a pass on that. But once he figures that out, I do think the Blues are going to be competitive enough to make it to the playoffs, to kind of bring interest to Enterprise Center, and we'll just see what happens when you get in. But they're still, I feel, a couple steps away from really being competitive, like the Florida Panthers and the Rangers and maybe Boston and whatnot.
Cam Jansen's joins us. Cam, on the blue line, like when they won, they were huge, right? And they were skilled and they could move, but they were big. And I look at the Blues decor now, and at Falk and Krug, and like obviously Colton Parayko's still there and he's big, but like, did they make a big organizational error, when they really revamped their D, but they got rid of a lot of their size while doing so?
Well, you got Edmonton, you look at it, Jay Bomeister, we know what happened with him. So what do you do with that? The Pietrangelo signing was interesting. Now that is the one where you look at, like, could you have gone the extra mile to give him what he wanted? So you have your captain here. That was Doug's decision. He stood pat by it. That could be the kind of the turning point of, don't get me wrong. That next year, the Blues lost to Colorado Avalanche. I think they had 109 points without Petro. Kadri ran into Bennington. That whole debacle happened. They lose to Colorado. So they were kind of in the mix when it comes to that. They beat Minnesota in the first round that year. So, no, but size does matter. Look at these teams. Like, you got to be big and you got to be mobile. That's kind of the trend. And that's why a lot of monsters were drafted this year. You see the draft, like some of these guys, these kids are huge. You're like, where did you come from? Wait, you're 18 years old? You're 6'4", 225? Dang, are you eating a lot of steak up in Alberta? Probably so. So it's hard to find these big, strong, mobile defensemen. They're out there, but that's certainly the trend that these teams want to get to. And, but look at all the best players like Quinn Hughes. He's not big. Adam Fox, is he a big guy? I don't know. He dominates the game every time I see him. So,
well, no, you can have some if they're elite. If they're elite, yes, you can have some for sure.
Exactly. If they're elite, you could deal with that. But size does matter, especially on the back end. I mean, even like a Nico Mikkola, who did play for the Blues, who plays for the Florida Panthers, like he's out at the end of that game. He's shutting guys down. That puck in the corner, the last 20 seconds of Game 7, he's not letting that go. And so, big guys like that, although they're not overly skilled, they still shut you down, and you need them.
Yeah, for sure. Cam, overall, when you mentioned Neighbors, and he had a really good season last year. Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou were kind of handed the keys to the car a few years ago. Ryan O'Reilly got moved out of town. They brought in some young guys. Now they're 26 and 25 years of age. They're both making $8.125 million. How do you view them as players? Like, what are what they already are? How much more room is there for those guys to grow and give more to the Blues?
Oh, I think Kyrou can score 40 goals. I mean, you do. He did it a couple of years ago when he had 37. Like, he's there. But Berube's like, no, you need to work on the other part of your game. And sometimes to adjust doing that, when you're just a speedy goal scorer with a hell of a shot, and all of a sudden your coach is on you because you're not doing the right things on the defensive side of the play, now you have to readjust your game. And maybe it slows your point pace down a little bit. And I think that's kind of what happened last year. Now, he did take a beating from the fans last year, too. I don't know if you remember, they booed him.
Yeah.
He said a couple things when Berube got fired. It was kind of like a weird, I've been through this too, where you say something and maybe you thought it meant something else, and then all of a sudden you quote it. Now it blows up all over St. Louis. The fans get pissed. They start booing you. He cries afterwards. Then he goes back out there and he has a couple great games in a row. They all cheer him. So it's kind of a roller coaster ride for him. But I think he's at another step. I think Robert Thomas has another step. He had a great year last year. He's shooting the puck. He's like, I'm going to have a shot first mentality. I love passing the puck, but you know what? My shot's pretty dang good, and I'm going to score some goals. So that was intriguing watching him, what he did last year. So I think, again, the Blues are in a pretty decent spot. They don't have any really albatross, contracts, but they should. You can't get caught up in that kind of stuff, especially in that organization. So I think the Blues are going to be okay. I truly, truly do. And I think the Blues fans here in the Midwest believe the same thing. They're kind of right there. Just get into the playoffs. We'll see what happens and keep retooling and figure this thing out. And, we've done it before. We know what it takes. So, we're trying to get to that point again.
Cam, what do you make of the addition of Claude Julien? I know Steve Ott got promoted to associate coach. Drew Bannister is no longer the interim. He's the head coach. So, some moves internally, guys get promoted a bit, and then Claude Julien comes in. What do you expect his impact is going to be on the club?
Well, it's funny. Claude was my coach when I was young with the Devils, right? And we were dominating. Yeah. We were beating everybody. We were in first place, and Lou fires him leading into the playoffs. It was 2 weeks ago. Remember that?
Yes.
I think it was 06 or 07. And all of a sudden Lou took over. And I'm like, what? I was such a young kid. I didn't even know. I'm like, what? What happened? Oh, he got fired. I had no idea what the eternal, thought process was in that situation at that time, because I was just a kid. But he was so nice. I understood everything he was saying. But it's smart for Doug. You got Drew Bannister. Doesn't cost much money. The guys seem to like him. They had a good record when Drew took over.
Yeah.
So now, if Drew doesn't work, instead of signing some big name coach for a lot of money, you're like, oh, we got Claude, who's proven a proven winner, and you're like, okay, Claude could probably take over. So there's a lot more to it than you think. But he's got a ton of knowledge, and he's going to help the young Drew Bannister out as much as he can. And if things don't work out, then you have him right there. Not to mention you have Steve Ott, who's wanting to be a head coach as well. Now, do you think Steve Ott, as far as being a head coach, does he need to go down the minors and grind it out being a head coach? Because being a head coach and assistant coach are completely different.
Yes.
Do you need to get more games? So there's a lot going on, but you got a lot of veterans and you got a lot of guys that these Blues players look up to and respect. That's good.
Yeah, that was my question about Ott. I wonder, some guys have done it, but usually they want to see how you run your own bench as a head coach. Eventually, I wonder if he does that.
I bet he will, though. I bet you Otter's in a different spot, though, man. He's kind of done it all on the ice. He's been through a lot. He's a winner. He knows the players. He knows how to talk to the players. He doesn't take any crap from anybody. He was hard-nosed. He was tough. All the guys respect him. So maybe he doesn't have to make that stint in the minors, and he could just, pop back up. But, hey, if he was my coach, I'd listen to every single word he said. He's a great guy, and he's got a bright future ahead of him.
He's one of the nicest guys around. Otter is a classic. So funny. One of the best chirpers ever. Otter was, I remember Otter fans hated him until he became a regular guest on my show. And they're like, God, I can't stand him, but I really like listening to because he was funny. And he would just outline how he used to go, hey, I would go after the king. Why he would go after the superstars, because he goes, why am I going to go after the peasant when I can go after the king?
No doubt. Yes. And you're playing against him too.
Yeah.
He was penalty killing. He was getting, he was getting a good amount of ice time.
Yeah.
But he will cross check you in the back and hit you from behind and probably hurt you. Just so you know.
Do the Blues, do they have enough physicality on their team? Or do you think you even need it in today's game?
No, you do need way more physicality. 100%, man. And not fighting, buckets off. No. Just mean. You need to be mean. You need to have guys like Sam Bennett in your face, roughing you up every 2 seconds. Like, what is this? Playing a regular shift. Your superstar, Matthew Tkachuk, has that mean, like that edge to him. Like, what is he going to do to me? Like, you're always thinking, what's this guy going to do? He's out there for 20 minutes a game. Like, that takes a toll on you. It truly does. I tell you what, man, I got to give Connor McDavid, like, he is such a warrior. Like, he is. And, sometimes he doesn't smile, and he just says that he doesn't say much afterwards. He kind of looks depressed a lot because he's just grinding it every damn day. But he is an absolute warrior, and he mixes in every shift. He's in the corners battling, doing this thing. Like, your big boys need to have an edge to them too. That's still a part of these playoffs, man. You got to be mean, and you got to have all these other guys thinking about what the hell you're going to do next. And if you have that and you have skill, boy, oh boy, that's great for the playoffs.
Yeah, well, you know what you just described, right? I look at Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Ovechkin, McDavid, superstar players who had bite and edge, and I look at Toronto, Cam, and they don't have any of it from their top guys.
No, they don't. Laissez-faire. Like, what's going on here? What? I'm not going in there. No, get in the corner. Like, there's a big difference, man. If you watch those guys and you watch what Connor or Nate McKinnon, who's yelling at guys. Hell, if a guy's drinking a sugary drink on the bench, he's going to yell at you about it. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that. Your superstar is very healthy. He wants you to be healthy. Oh, he's rocking guys with reverse hits. Why aren't you doing that? He's getting 22 minutes a night. Why don't you jump up and do some of that stuff? I mean, it just goes so far. You have to have that edge because we watch these playoffs. Hell, I'll tell you this, man. That whole season was great last year. It was. We had a little bit of everything. The playoffs were fantastic. The Oilers kept it alive, going back and forth at that 7-hour flight, which is god-awful. They were killing each other. You saw skill. You saw great goaltending. You had it all. Last year's hockey season was fantastic. That's good for the game, but they still have that snarl and the edge. You have to have that as a team if you want to win the whole thing.
Cam, always good to catch up with you, man. I really appreciate it. Have yourself an awesome weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Oh, I will. See you, buddy. Right on.
There you go. That's Cam Jansen joining us from St. Louis, and he is bang on when it comes to, like, McDavid and Draisaitl are superstars. They're elite players, but they're not soft. They compete. They don't have to fight anyone, but they're in every battle. And Nate McKinnon was the same way. I know what our fans don't like to hear, but Tkachuk, good example. Oh, Bennett, hard-nosed player. Toronto, their guys are very good players. They're going to help a team. But you can't have all of your top-end guys where none of them have that ferocity. Now, if you had someone else in the mix, I think it would work. Barkov doesn't have it, and he's fine. Right? He's a really good player. Not every Nugent Hopkins doesn't have it. Right? Like, you have other guys who can be good players on your team, but you need someone in your core to have it. And I don't think Toronto has it. And that's why, to me, that's the number one. Now, the problem is, and if I was Toronto, if you force me to make a decision, I think I would re-sign Marner, and I would bite the bullet for a year, and then I'm not bringing John Tavares back when his contract expires. There's $11 million. Because if you lose Tavares and Marner, because you're going to trade Marner, what are you getting back? Right? Or then what's going to happen is then you're going to re-sign Tavares for $8 million. Okay, sure, it's less than what he's making, but I don't think he helps. If I was them, I think they're 1 year. I would, and if I was a GM, I'd have been saying that from the get-go. I'd been looking and saying, okay, I have Marner, Matthews, Nylander. We'll even if we have to bite the bullet for 1 more year, yeah, it sucks. But then we'll use that money and we'll go out and we will get players, plural, because you don't have to spend it all on one, to play with bite who can play in your top 6. And a guy who's a leader who's going to bring a different element. I think that would have worked out better. Because now they might lose Marner. Well, probably will. And I'm not saying they can't recover from it. But John Tavares, where he's going, I think he's been a really good player who never had that next level to his game. 3:48, quick break. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We've got a lot more text coming in our eWell inbox, 833-401-1440.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has been the trusted heart of Central Alberta. We're not just a dealership, we're a tradition of honesty and excellence. With honest pricing and genuine service, we proudly earned Canada's only 51-time President's Award for Customer Satisfaction. Join our extended family and experience the Denham Ford difference. Whether on the Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or online at denhamford.ca, your journey to trust and excellence starts with us. Denham Ford, driving tradition forward.
Employee pricing is on now at Chevrolet. Right now, get up to $10,500 off select Silverado 1500 High Country Crew Cab models. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and standard Chevrolet safety assist, including forward collision alert, getting out of the city and having a nice, quiet day on the beach is easier than ever this season. So relaxing. Ask your Chevrolet advisor for details.
Stingray All Good Vibes with Prime Video channels is your ticket to thousands of concerts and karaoke songs. Benefit from the Prime Day promotion between July 10th to 17th. Subscribe today to receive 2 months of service at 99 cents per month.
Welcome to California.
Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for concerts, karaoke, and more. Prime subscription is required.
Edmonton is a great sports town. I've been there, I know. My name is Jason Smith. I host a late-night talk show here on Sports 1440. Join me and Mike Harmon tonight from 9 to midnight. There's always a ton of things to talk about, so tune in. Sports 1440.
$3.52. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Lots of texts coming in. Also, huge news out of the association coming down from Wojnarowski as Jaylen Brunson has signed an extent. Now, this is how much crazy money you have in the NBA. Now, he could have signed the max 5-year deal for like $269 million. Under the NBA rules, that's what he could have signed for. He ended up signing a 4-year extension at 156.5 because now that's 113 million less guaranteed, but it gives the Knicks significantly more cap flexibility to keep their team together. Now, it basically costs them about $37 million over the next 3 years. It has a 4th-year player option, and Brunson could then recoup most of that money and sign a $323 million extension in 2028, or a 5-year, $480 million deal in 2029. Like, the money is so ridiculous. why would you take a 5-year max as a player? Like $269 million, you've made so much money. At that point, it doesn't matter. You're like, I want to win. He's going to be able to, he'll make more than enough money than he'll ever need. His kids will ever need, his grandkids, his great grandkids. Like, you kidding me? I like this decision. I've said it all along. Now when you're talking 156 mil, like that's what he's making 156 million. Most NHL players never make that in their career, right? McDavid will be at 110 million when his deal's over. Now he'll get another one and it'll be a good deal. Sure. But he's also the highest paid guy in the league, or was. And this is a 3-year deal, right? Like the money's, it's 4 years. It's not even fathomable how ridiculous it is. So sure, it's a little easier to do that in the NBA if you think about it. But even in the NHL, if you're like, you know what, instead of taking an 8-year deal at 10 mil, I would do it for 6. Although the difference is if you do it, you're just, going to lose those 2 years. But you got enough money. If you really wanted it, you could. So we'll see how the Knicks, the key now is, like if you're Brunson, if I signed that deal, I would want some sort of guarantee, Connor, that they weren't going to spend the money that they're not spending on me stupidly. That would be the clause I'd want in my contract to say, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I at least get to have a say somewhat, or at least counter if we're going to want to sign and overpay for some guy who we know isn't that good. That's what I would want.
Maybe another player from that Villanova team that won. They've already got 4 of those players that won there. I think 2 of them won another title later on here, but I absolutely love it. Like you said, how much money do you really need? And if the Knicks win and start to win more and more, you're one of the faces of the team. Hey, you're going to get money from endorsement deals. There's going to be other ways for you to recoup that extra lost salary. So I really do like that one for him. Shows he's a team player, shows he wants to win. And I would assume the rest of the players on the next Knicks team are going to follow suit with that one. And you don't have to be the highest paid player in the league. Let's get some rings. They last forever. And I really like this move from the camp.
Yeah. It's awesome. Hey guys, I think it's great. Would the NHL ever do it? Well, no, the NHL doesn't make that much money, right? Like you're talking guys like when you can say, "Oh, I'm only," and let me preface that in huge quotations, only taking 156 million over 4 years. Like, come on, what's that? That's 39 mil per year. 39. I think you'll be okay. And how many NHL contracts this year signed were more than 39 mil for the entirety of their extensions? Any? Stamkos was 4 years, 8 mil. Hedman, 4 years, 8 mil. Reinhart would have been over. That's one. There might be 1 or 2, but that's my point. So it's very, very different. Hey guys, don't you think it's insane that athletes are playing the hardest sport of the Big Four make so much less? Well, I don't know if hockey's harder than football, to be honest. Football is, like, look at the average career length in football. It is a punishing sport. It's hard. They're getting closer to guaranteed contracts, but they're not fully guaranteed. So I don't know if it's necessarily hard. It's different, right? They're all hard in their own rights. But it's a business, and I think it's a great reminder. You don't get paid more in the NHL because you think the game's harder. You get paid more based on how much money they bring in, which is why I don't have any time for someone who wants to trot out that the women should get paid this much, and they pick a number. I'm like, well, why? Because it's not about gender. CFL players get paid less than NHL, who get paid less than MLB, who get paid less than MLB. No, what about NLL players? The National Lacrosse League's been around a long time. It's a good league. They're not getting paid the same as NHL players. Why? Because they don't have the same TV deal. They don't have the same audience. They don't have the same sponsors willing to pay the money. It's that simple. It's nothing about gender at all. It's because all men sports are played by men. So it's not gender-based. It's business-based. And just because you're bringing in female leagues it doesn't change that it's still at the end of the day, it's a bottom line business. Right? It's that simple. And guess what? As more fans continue to go to WNBA games, guess what? The players get paid more. Awesome. That's fantastic. That's how it should be. So they'll negotiate it. Right, look at Premier League contracts in soccer, con man. Like, it's just different.
Well, and I mean, look at the NBA's new deal with TV, 11 years. Did you see the number? 76 billion. It's just 15-man rosters, Gregor.
I know.
These guys are going to get paid more and more as this progresses.
And a 15-man roster, which has about 8 guys playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you have all that money for a much smaller pool of players. So yeah, of course they're making more. That's just how it goes. The league makes way more, and there's few players to spread the money around. There's not. To me, this is very easy economics for anybody out there who's taken a course and can understand. Well, if we bring in this much, then we have this much to spend. It's that simple. There's no arguing it. And for the most part, I think most people get it. There's some that still might need a quick refresher on the business of sport, because that's what it's become, a business. 3:59 coming up later on in the final few hours of the show. We are going to hear from Alan Mitchell will be by. Derek Moncrief, linebacker for the Elks. We got a lot of text to get to. Our question of the day, you know what? Got a lot of good responses. We asked, it's very simple. What's your expectation? Do you think Evander Kane plays opening night, or will he be injured? Well, because right now he's resting and rehabbing. That's the plan they're taking, and hopefully for him it works. I wouldn't wish surgery on any human being because you never know how it's going to go. But if it doesn't go, then he's going to require surgery. And, and even if he doesn't have surgery, but he's resting and rehabbing, will he be able to get in the shape he needs to be because of the proper training? Those are all that's what's up in the air with Evander Kane right now. And we'll see where it goes. So the question was pretty easy. Do you think Kane will be in the lineup in opening night? I'm not talking trade because I'm not putting out a trade rumor, because and honestly, I don't think the Oilers should trade Kane, to be honest. If I would get him healthy first and see what he can do. Because a healthy Kane has a lot of attributes that could really help your team. Let's get to the Command Sports 1440 update, brought to you by the Hockey Heroes Society and their charity golf tournament featuring NHL alumni, which goes September 7th with the gala dinner on September 6th. All the proceeds helping Hockey Heroes, which gets kids playing who otherwise would have no chance to play sports. It's fantastic. If you want to sign up your foursome, have a great time, go to hockeyheroesgame.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 6 in the CFL continues tonight. You got Winnipeg hosting the 2-2 Stampeders. That'll start at 6:30 tomorrow. The Riders in BC to take on the Lions. And on Sunday, it all wraps up with the Elks hosting the Ottawa Red Blacks. Down gets going 5 o'clock down at Commonwealth. Major League Baseball today, the Jays are in action, kicking off a series taking on the Diamondbacks. First pitch set for 7:40. Those two teams meet tomorrow at 8:10. Then Sunday at 2:10. You can hear both those games radio feed right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere, Dodgers in Detroit, Phillies host the Athletic. The Yankees head to Baltimore. Red Sox welcome the Royals to Fenway. The Pirates in Chicago take on the White Sox. Brewers host the Nats. Cubbies in St. Louis. The Angels take on the Mariners. It all wraps up 8:15 with the Twins in San Francisco. The Edmonton Stingers in action this weekend. 2 road games tomorrow afternoon. They'll be in Scarborough taking on the Shooting Stars. Then Sunday at 1 o'clock taking on the Niagara River Lions. The Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight as well out in Victoria, kicking off a weekend series. That'll start just after 8 o'clock. And in the WNBA, the Dream host the Aces. The Mercury travel to Indianapolis to take on the Fever, and it's the Storm up against the Lynx. In the NBA, bit of a surprising move as the New York Knicks star Jaylen Brunson agreeing on a 4-year, $156.5 million extension, $113 million guaranteed, less than he would have been able to receive next year. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by the host of the Lowdown with Lowetide, Alan Mitchell. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The 100% Canadian beef McDonald's Western Barbecue Quarter Pounder is quite the mouthful. So, who better to sell it in 30 seconds than a 100% Canadian auctioneer?
Oh, mercy, it's back. 100% Canadian beef, topped with delicious smoky barbecue sauce and bacon. Who wants bacon? We got hickory smoked bacon strips, crispy onions. Who wants pickles? Not one, down better than 2 slices of processed cheddar cheese, served on a toasted sesame seed bun, and did so for a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Western Canada.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our final clear out of classic Ram 1500 trucks, and I do mean final. This is your last chance to get 25% off a brand new Ram truck. We still have some inventory left, but when they're gone, they're really gone. Or get an iconic Jeep Wrangler with up to $7,500 off. 0% financing available on every model. And we have a couple of the rare 500 horsepower 392 Wranglers in stock now. St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge, Edmonton's best rated Ram and Jeep dealers.
Albatross Roofing and Construction is hiring experienced flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators and installers in Edmonton. Must have SBS modified bitumen experience and valid CSTS certification. Enjoy top wages, benefits, and career growth. Apply at roofingalbatross.ca. Join their expert team today.
Rule number 12. Not spending the afternoon tubing on the Pembina? Next, you'll tell us you don't wear flannel. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assembled.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you on or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance. When you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
No matter where you're heading, Co-op Cardbox are open and ready to fuel your summer. A Co-op Cardbox card unlocks round-the-clock access to over 390 conveniently located fuel stops across Western Canada so that you can fuel up anytime, day or night. We're proud to be Western Canada's largest cardlock network, with many locations offering amenities such as convenience stores, showers, and overnight parking. So whether you're fueling your work vehicle or a farm truck, Co-op keeps you on the road. Co-op. Fueling Western Canada.
4 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Positive Friday on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. So we continue on. Gregor Show is always presented by playalberta.ca. Cons, I haven't seen, has there been any punishment coming out to the Uruguay players for that going into the crowd after Colombia? Have you seen? I haven't seen anything, but I don't know if because they play the game tomorrow. I'm just wondering, is there fine, suspension, anything happening from that?
You know what? We haven't seen anything as of yet, which the family aspect of it might have been something, but nothing officially for Darwin Nunez would be the big one, right? Jumped up in there, I think grabbed the chair that he was going to throw up there. Haven't seen anything yet, so it looks like they'll be getting away from this one without any punishment.
Yeah. And you know what? When you see the video and you see that you're going in the crowd to protect your family, it's really difficult for me to think that they should be punished for that, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I'm sure like the Canadian side wouldn't be begging for it either. Like, oh, they're going to help their family. Okay, tough to be too upset about that. If you were in a similar situation and you see your family in potential danger, where opposing fans who do have a reputation of getting a little bit dangerous, who are already throwing things onto the field, are getting into that zone where they're not supposed to be, and you only see one security guard, I can't imagine too many parents out there wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm going to get up there. I got to do something.
The Uruguayan coach's press conference, people should go watch it. He was fired up. We'll try to get audio from it today. He was definitely not excited about it. So we'll see. Hey guys, the human side of me says, Kane, I hope your rest does the trick and you're healthy and back for game 1. The Order fan side of me says, rest up all year on LTR and see you in the playoffs. Nothing wrong with the Vegas flu, from Northside Lou. So here's the question though I have for people. So if Evander Kane, like I get the theory behind what people think that, the Orders, you know what, Kane's going to be an LTIR, and then they can use that space and they can add other players, and then he can magically be ready for the playoffs, and boom, it's going to work out. And I get the theory behind it. But again, no player has ever in the NHL sat out from June until April and played in the playoffs. Now, Kucherov had his surgery, because remember, they finished the cup there in October. They waited. He had the surgery in December, then came back and played. Now, he's also a Hart Trophy winner, an Art Ross winner, one of the top 5 offensive players in the NHL. Now, you had Mark Stone. Now, Mark Stone was out in January and then would sit out, and he had surgery. I think it was actually in mid to late February, in fact. So I want to say February 18th or 20th. So then he was out March. He was out April, came back in late April for the playoffs. 2.5 months. Thinking Evander Kane, because if he had surgery that was that serious, so now let's go through the whole rehab. Look at players who, when they come out of, because he's seriously hurt, right? He's going to have surgery if he's going to be out that long. The odds that Evander Kane could come back and be an impact player in the postseason, having not played an NHL game since June, and then having surgery, like, I think it's wishful thinking at best. Right? I think it's wishful thinking. So we'll see where it goes with that. So hey boys, there's like 300 players in the NBA. That's why they make the most money. It's exclusive club. NHL, NFL, MLB rosters are way bigger. Yeah, no, I understand that, but they also make a boatload of money. Right? The NBA brings in like over $10 billion last year, and that's probably up this year. Right? It's massive. So they bring in almost twice as much as the NHL and then have rosters that are half the size. So yeah, like it's pretty simple why they're making more. Like, I still see some hockey guys online. I can't believe the NHL superstars aren't good. Connor McDavid isn't close to the NBA guys. I'm like, dude, you're an agent. You should know how business works. So I've never understood that one. So,
what was the NHL TV deal, Gregor? Because I have here with the Rogers deal, it was 12 years. It expires in 25, 26. $5.2 billion.
Yeah.
The NBA's deal was $76 billion. Now I know it's years apart, but
yeah,
the NHL is not going to get $76 billion for theirs.
So if they had $5 billion on the last one, which is 12 years. So it's basically $500 million a year, give or take. And the NBA's was $76 billion for 8 years?
11 years.
11 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So $7 billion a year. So they're going from $500 million. What could the NHL double? Could the NHL go to $12 billion over 12? Like that would be a massive increase if they did it. But even then, you're going to be $1 billion compared to $7 billion. It's a significant difference. Significant. So yeah, you have to do that. Hey guys, Kelsey Plum has been saying this for a while. She doesn't want WNBA players to have NBA contracts, but she does want the same percentage of profit. I think that's how she put it in relation to jersey sales and things like that. Did she take time to look at that though? Right. So last year, now this year's different. Caitlin Clark effect will be true. And I'm very curious to see how much the Caitlin Clark effect impacts the bottom line of the WNBA. But in 2023, the WNBA brought in $200 million for the league. Now, out of that, you have to pay staff, you have to pay players, you have to pay arena rentals, you have to pay flights, you have to pay hotels, you have to pay all that. Right. So then I think if they went just out of, because it's the 50% isn't the 50% is after everything is paid, what you come out of it. Right. So they're not there yet. And as they get there, then yeah, they will look at it. You'll have rev splits. Certainly. No problem. Right. People were freaking out about the Caitlin Clark rookie contract. Well, you look at leagues, they've limited what rookies make. And that was the players themselves who are like, we don't want somebody who's never played in the league getting huge money, because some of them work out, but a lot don't. So it was actually very smart by the players to do that. Kind of got to earn your stripes. Right? You come out of medical school and you graduate top of your class. You don't get paid much as the guy who's been doing it for 20 years, nor should you. You don't have the experience. We don't know if you're going to be that good at it. Why would athletics be any different? And I like Caitlin Clark, you look at when the Fever go into buildings, like they're selling out, which is unbelievable for them. And it's great. And so, ultimately, the WNBA, and I thought Bill Burr put it very well. This is not a guy problem. Right? The population, last I checked, is 50-50. I think it actually might be like 50.1% are women in the world, and it's 49.9. So it's pretty darn close. So, you know what? Now, there's lots of women who support men's sports. There's lots of men who enjoy going to the WNBA. But the majority, I go to the games all the time. If you look around the arena, the majority of people at the games, right? The majority, I know who they are. So do you. So, right? If women want their leagues to grow and prosper, which I think they're doing, look at the PWHL, WNBA, they're both growing because they got to support it, and as they've done. And they can support it by watching it, because where most of the big money comes from, as Connor just outlined, is TV deal. Like the NFL's gate revenue is like a pittance. It's a couch cushion money for the NFL compared to their TV deal, right? Like if the NBA gets 76 bill, like the NFL's deal, oh my God, like can't even imagine what it's going to be. So if it's $7 billion a year for the NBA, I'm guessing the NFL's at least 10 or 11, at least, probably more. So you have to have people that watch the games. It's just that simple, right? You have to get the TV ratings to get the advertisers to pay the big money. Because right now, sports is the place where still big numbers are shown. Whether it's watching, whether it's listening. It's just a fact. Still is.
You want the NFL number?
Sure.
March 18th, 2021, it was an 11-year contract, $110 billion.
And that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
11 years, 110 billion, you said?
110 billion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was basically 10 billion a year. Right? So that was a good guess. And that was 3 years ago. What's it going to be now? Like, will it be 15? Like the NFL could be double of what the NBA is.
And now they're streaming too, getting Amazon involved.
Mm-hmm.
And
And they have fewer games, too. That's what's crazy about it. But because it's kind of destination viewing, right? You got one game a week. Everybody goes. When we return, Lowetide will join us. We're going to talk a little Elks. We're going to talk some Oilers, Evander Kane. Also, we look at there's two battles that I see on the Oilers roster. We'll talk about them next. On the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
What a season. What a ride. Congratulations on an incredible season from GS Construction. Whether you're a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man or woman, or water and sewer foreman, GS Construction has room for you on their team. GS Construction, celebrating 50 years of laying the groundwork of Edmonton and communities throughout Alberta. Let's get to work. Get started today at gsconstruction.ca.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the cheesy burger trio or choose between the large cheesy burger pizza for $18.99, cheesy burger papadilla for $9.99, and bacon cheesy burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some cheesy burger pizza at Papa John's.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is still the #1 company for families who don't want to see Dad in his underwear. Come on, we warned you about a heat wave a while ago, and lo and behold, here we are. So call Legacy now before the heat wave convinces Dad to cool down in a kiddie pool in your front yard. Yeah, we've still got air conditioners in stock, and yes, you won't have payments or interest for 1 year. Keeping Dad from bathing in public during a heat wave. That's how you save your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds, recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
The Bricks Appliance Super Sale is here for all your home outfitting needs. Check out amazing deals on all major appliances, like chest freezers starting at just $199 and washer and dryer packages for under $1,500. Plus, shop incredible deals in other departments, like up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. This summer, the Bricks Appliance Super Sale has got you covered. Whether you're looking for items as big as a fridge or as small as a kettle. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Summer adventures are more fun in a new Mitsubishi from Cross Mitsubishi.
Home of the largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory in Western Canada.
All this month, get 0% financing on all 2024 Mitsubishi models.
Plus, get up to a $3,000 trade-in bonus.
And double the loyalty rebate for all existing Mitsubishi owners, up to $1,000.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition.
9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Edmonton.com, you can get a free 10-year or $1 million or 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles, and you can save $7,000 for all new 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Host of the Lowdown, Alan Mitchell, joins us. LT, how you doing?
The sunshine and the warm weather, and got a few things done that I had to do. I'm not a big vacation guy, but I've enjoyed these 2 days off.
Yeah, good for you. Jeez, I know we had to force you to take some holidays. So, you know what? Jeez, you'll just be recharged on Monday. People better be ready because Al will come out firing on Monday.
Totally.
Our question today is about it. Well, we got a few, but one about Evander Kane. So people saw him in the ESPYs last night, and they're like, "Oh, what's he?" Well, he's, as I've said, I've been reporting for a few weeks. He's going to try the rest rehab model first, which makes sense. You'd always try that before you have surgery, and then they'll see if it works. He can come back and play, or if not, then they'll have to look at probably going down the surgery route. So my question to you, Al, is: do you think the rest and recovery works? Is Evander Kane in the opening night lineup on game one, or will they be looking for surgery and a stint to start the season on LTIR?
My guess is, and I think Evander Kane, a healthy Evander Kane brings a lot. He is a load, and he is a great first shot scorer, and I think people have forgotten that because it's been a while since he was completely healthy. But it for me, I think this is probably the player wanting to do it this way, and maybe the organization thinking, well, you know, if it doesn't work out, then because sooner or later, if he comes back, they have to figure out the money. I think he will not be in the opening night lineup. I think his surgery will be required, and then it'll be down to how long does he recover before they have to figure out the cap.
Yeah, and so kind of maybe pushes things down the road until he's healthy. I'm with you. Like, to me, the Oilers need to get Kane healthy, and then we'll see what they have left. Last year, obviously, he had the wrist injury, came back and played, and obviously wasn't healthy. This year, battled nagging injuries. But if he kept playing, obviously going to be that hurt. So I give him a little bit of leeway, but not massive. If now if you're coming off of surgery like Brown, you can see the difference, right? It takes you a while to do it. Now, if you keep battling through the injury, you do wonder at some point to say, hey, maybe just take a few weeks off. Maybe it's better. So we'll see there in that regard. But so let's say Kane and, you don't have him in to start. So then you have Skinner, you have Nugent Hopkins, you have Holloway as your left wingers, and then you have Brown, Arvidsson, and Hyman as your right wingers in your top nine.
Yeah, I think probably Janmark, I think would be the fourth line guy. He could slide up if Holloway's struggling or for injury. But I think that's about right. Brown, I think we saw him real good after he finally recovered, like after the deadline. I remember you saying it was like making a trade at the deadline, and it really did turn out like that. He was a different player, and you want Brown can play on the third line, and Janmark can play on the fourth line, and they can still penalty kill. So that's okay. But I think you're right. I think that's the way it would line up, and Henrique. Unless they go out and get a right-handed center who can, play third in a pinch, I think Henrique is the third-line center. So even though I do like him on the wing, I think he's really good with McDavid. I think he's likely going to be a center.
Yeah, it's interesting, the order, the depth. So there's two spots, Al. I think most of us would agree. We named the 10 forwards, and I think all of us have Janmark. So that leaves the fourth-line center and the fourth line right wing spot. And you have Derek Ryan, you have Lane Peterson, you have Noah Philp. Then you throw in Raphael Lavoie, Corey Perry, I guess Bourgault potentially as the guy.
I don't think he's ready.
I'm agreeing with you. So, and I don't think they're going to play Savoy in the fourth line. That makes zero sense. So it really kind of comes down to like Raphael Lavoie, who I had on the show yesterday. He comes into camp here. He all he has to do is play better than Corey Perry just to get on the roster. It doesn't mean he's going to be in the lineup maybe every night, but it is something for him to consider. And I think there's a realistic path that he could do to make that happen.
I agree. And, he has improved. When he arrived in the AHL, he had that junior level thing where he wasn't moving his feet enough, and he wasn't aware defensively, and he He didn't bully people. He's a big man. He didn't push people out of the way and get physical with them. As time went along, two things happened. Number one, he did get more physical, and he does move his feet very well in the AHL. And then he did find quiet places to release that shot of his. And I think he had 53 goals in the last 2 years, 25 and 28. And so they started utilizing him as a hammer. And that means to me I'm not saying he's going to ever be on the power play in Edmonton, but he does have a shot that can beat goaltenders. And if he can do that, if he can play fourth line, remember a few years ago, the Oilers had a kid named Iro Pekkarinen who could score. He played fourth line minutes, but he scored a lot of goals compared to how many minutes he played because he had a hell of a shot. Lavoie has that too. He just got to get on the ice and be responsible. He can play right or left wing. He's got some utility. I've always liked him, and I think that, it's not over for him yet, but boy, this is I'm hoping he is lifting buses over his head right now because he has a great opportunity to make the NHL this fall.
Oh, 100%. On the back end, if you had to pick Stecher or Brown, who do you think? Brown makes a mill, Stecher, so that could come into play, right? I know neither one counts if they're in their minors, but they do count if they're on the NHL roster, and so that might work against Brown. Although, he signed a 3-year deal out. Do you think that Brown's pretty much locked himself in as the number 7 because of the physical presence that he brings?
Here's what I think. I do think that. I think Stecher could come in and have a great camp and force his way on the depth chart. But I think the reason the Oilers signed Brown was obvious. They weren't going to get Desharnais, and they liked that physical, tough. Desharnais was an intimidator. Opposition didn't like playing against him. They used to slash and hack him, and when he played for the Oilers, Desharnais took a physical beating because he was beating it out during the play. After the whistle, guys would slide by and give him a shot because they didn't like him. He was a nasty piece of business. And, Brown, that will be his role. I don't know if Brown can defend as well as Desharnais. He was pretty good at it. He really improved. But I think Brown's probably the guy. My own preference would be Stecher, but I think that Brown is pretty unique on the right side of this defense based on Bouchard, Broberg, and Ceci, who also has a little bit of an edge. But Brown can, he's a physical guy. And if they can get him into the lineup enough, I think he's probably got the edge. Although, as I say, my check down would be Stecher. But undersized puck movers, as we saw in the playoffs, that was not a good spring for their longevity and their payday because there was a lot of big, mean defensemen playing deep into the spring and early summer.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm kind of I know I've seen all the numbers on Brown. All right, analytically it doesn't look good. Not, and I get that not every stat tells the truth, but when every different place you look at it, you're like, ooh, geez. I'm kind of interested to see how many games he plays because if the Oilers 6D are here right now, I don't see him playing very often in the lineup.
No, but also this used to happen. I remember when I was so upset with them. They went to free agency and they got Steve Staios. I'm like, the guy's a right winger. He plays some defense, and he got here, and it was almost overnight. I think Charlie Huddy was the defensive coach and Mac T was the coach, and he became an outstanding defenseman with the Edmonton Oilers after playing with the Thrashers and playing right wing with the Canucks. He came in and they simplified the game. He could play a physical game. He was strong as a bull and smart. And so, sometimes a player will come from another organization and you'll look at the numbers and you go, well, I don't know how that's going to work. But if the Oilers, Desharnais was, he struggled when he turned pro and he slowly but surely got better. I'll be interested in seeing how Brown plays in the Edmonton system. And my suspicion is that they'll really simplify his game. They'll put him with a good puck mover. And we might be surprised by how well he plays as an Edmonton Oilers defenseman.
Okay. I'll be curious to see. You could be totally right. Now, moving to the green and gold, the Elks are clearly in need of a victory. We know who the starting quarterback now is for Ottawa. Some bad news for Edmonton. The D lineman went down today, so we'll see if he's going to play or not tomorrow for them. But we had their quarterback, Bethel Thompson, on the show yesterday, and it was an excellent interview. Honestly, like his breaking down of the missed pass over Cobb and then the interception was fantastic. But he said, in his words, that he's been making 2 or 3 really bad errors that are costing his team. He's talking about himself, and then you look at the other players, and it's kind of the same thing. And now a different guy, of course. And I wonder if that's fixable. Like maybe being that close eventually, something has to give. And, there's only 4 guys who do it, not 14, and you win a game. I guess it's possible. But like, do you think this season is still salvageable for the green and gold? Or have you seen enough to make you think, I don't know, man, it's going to be another way more losses than wins year?
Well, I think, first of all, I heard the interview, and it's hard not to like the guy because he was straight up. Like he has some spine. He owned it. And, his numbers the interception total is terrible. 5 interceptions in 4 games. That's unacceptable. But he does have 7 touchdowns and 71% completion rate. So I will say that they've seemed like this for a couple of years now, Jason, where they've been in every game, and you're like, it's frustrating, right? You're like, come on, man. So I think that maybe it's like it'll be like a watershed. Once they win 1, they could go on a roll. But I will say this: I don't know that their season's over, but they have to win this weekend, and then they have to win 2 more. And if you're 3-5, then you can have a conversation. But the desperate times cause for desperate measures. Man, I'd be jumping every ball if I was a DB, and I'd be cheating a little bit on each line because they have to win. This is not, this is a winnable game, should be, and they have to win it because if they do win it, then the pressure will be off, and maybe they get some momentum.
Well, yeah, they could use some. Where, Al? I know you're a huge sports guy, but where's your interest right now in the CFL?
Oh, I love it. I've never give up the CFL. To me, the Canadian Football League is like I love baseball, I love hockey, I love football, but I love the NFL. But I also love the CFL. One of the thrills of my life was meeting Tom Wilkinson. I can remember where I was. I was on the golf course, the old radio station. We were doing and I met him, and I walked 18 with him, and it was a thrill for me. So I know that the Canadian Football League, goes through ups and downs. I know a lot of young people who are big fans of the CFL, but I'm all in on it. And I think that it's still, Jason, it's still the most entertaining damn game available. Nothing happens. Like you could go like for a walk at the beginning of the first quarter, get back for the last 3 minutes, and the game is still in doubt no matter what. And not every sport's like that. And the CFL is an exciting game. I love the rules. The talent level is very high, I think. As long as you have, some quarterback experience on your team, you could win. And so I'm excited for the CFL. I am every year. I'm a little choked that the Rough Riders are undefeated now, but I'm sure they'll take care of that. But other than that, I'm pretty excited about it. It is kind of a downer for the local team not to have a win, though, I'll be honest.
Yeah, well, you look at last night, the Alouettes suffered their first loss of the season. Toronto beats them 37 to 18. Pretty good performance by the Boatmen in that game. And, I look, you got Calgary and Winnipeg. You wonder if Winnipeg now is going to wake up after their slow start. Saskatchewan and BC, that's the game of the week for sure. 4-0 Riders and the 4-1 Lions. And then on Sunday, of course, you got Edmonton and Ottawa. And, the weather should be good. It's a 5:00 start on a Sunday. It's summertime. You know what? Kids can go to that game, and who cares if you get home at 8:30 for the most part. Everybody lets their kids stay up a little bit later. Not too late, especially if they're young, because then they're Bears the next day. But I look at the Elks, and until they win, Al, I think it's going to be a hard sell. Like, you've got the diehards who are going to go, and like the funny thing is, like, tailgating's exploded, right? Like it's grown massively, which shows that there's the passion there for a select group, but kind of like those your B-level fans. I don't mean that insulting, but B-level fans will go to maybe 1 or 2 games a year. The A-level, they go to every game, right? Like they're living it, they eat it, they breathe it. And you have that in every business. We have that in listeners. Some of our listeners listen 24, all the time. Others will listen for a few hours, right? Others listen to multiple. It all depends. Everybody's different. But I look at the CFL, and right now they're not, the Elks anyway, aren't getting any, it seems, of the casual fan.
No, I agree. And there's stories to tell. Ottawa hasn't won a game on the road. Their point differential is like minus 29. The Elks haven't won at home, but their point differential is minus 17. There's a story to tell there. There's an excitement there, but people aren't people I know, people, who are in their 50s and 60s who are ordinarily caring about the CFL when I am. I can bring it up, but it just kind of dies. And that's the concern I have, is that, and that's why I think they really do have to win, because no matter what anybody feels about the name or the hassle getting to the park or whatever, if they win, they become more interesting.
Oh,
and
for sure.
They just have to, I don't know how to put any more pressure on a football team that's 0-4, but the idea that they could, win one and then see what happens. Because if you win 3 in a row, then you're a big story, because you started off so badly last year. You've been pretty putrid for the last few years. You start 0-4 and then you win 3 in a row. You're 3-4. Now all of a sudden people are excited about it, but it has to start with game 1 victory, and that's this weekend.
Al, will the Elks on your show on Monday, will you be talking about a win, or, as Cam Tate said, will Owen still be around? 0-5.
It'll be 30-26 for the Elks, and they'll win on a late interception for 6.
Ooh, wow, 26. Oh, I like that point total. All right, Al. Well, have yourself a great day.
All right. Have a good weekend, boys.
There you go. That's Al Mitchell. Hey, fellas, winning makes things better, but the Elks could learn a thing or two from the Riverhawks on marketing activities at the game. Yeah, different games for sure. I actually think the Elks have done a lot better things in-house. Now, the problem is right now, the stadium, if you look at the Riverhawks and you bring in, now, obviously, when you have 9,000, but even if there's 4,000, 5,000 at that facility, everybody's close. You're right there. You got the Elks. And I know they've done the lower bowl, but it's still massively spread out. So it is a little bit different. I do see your point, and I think there's some truth to it for sure. There are some things that you can do. They've had allowed kids on the field now for a few years, and that's a very smart decision, right? The Riverhawks, when they started, they did it, which was very wise. The Stingers have been a pretty successful team as well. But make no mistake, the Riverhawks this year, last year, you got people out, it's good, but they're going to crush last year's attendance. And this year's team is a lot more competitive. It does help when you win, because when you go to the game and you win, your kids are like, I want to go back. You still have fun if you lose, but not as much fun if you win. It's just valid for sure. 4:41. We'll come back. We got 5 questions. Derek Moncrief will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Linebacker coming back for his second tour with the Elks. See what he can bring to the defense. That and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Elks fans.
Jackpot! Touchdown! Get on the Elks Party Bus for every home game at On the Rocks for only $35.
Included is a game ticket, round-trip transportation, and a prepaid Coors Light.
Reserve your spot now at ontherocks.com.
And OTR is your go-to for every Euro Cup game.
With $5.25 Heineken.
Their first major trophy. It's the ultimate football experience.
Canadian or European.
Only at On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You don't work for GMC, but it's kind of like you do, because you pay what we pay. GMC employee pricing is on now on all 2024 GMC Sierra half tons and Hummers. Oh, but at Wolf GMC Buick, it's even better. Get GMC employee pricing on every in-stock 2024 GMC. If it's new and a 2024 and it has that beautiful GMC logo on it, then it's GMC employee priced. Pay what we pay, but only until July 25th. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now and see the over 200 GMCs in stock.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
The 100% Canadian beef McDonald's Western Barbecue Quarter Pounder is quite the mouthful. So, who better to sell it in 30 seconds than a 100% Canadian auctioneer?
Oh, mercy, it's back. 100% Canadian beef, topped with delicious smoky barbecue sauce and bacon. Who wants bacon? We got hickory smoked bacon strips, crispy onions. Who wants pickles? Not one down, better than 2 slices of processed cheddar cheese, served on a toasted sesame seed bun, and it's sold for a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Western Canada.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our final clear out of classic Ram 1500 trucks, and I do mean final. This is your last chance to get 25% off a brand new Ram truck. We still have some inventory left, but when they're gone, they're really gone. Or get an iconic Jeep Wrangler with up to $7,500 off. 0% financing available on every model. And we have a couple of the rare 500 horsepower 392 Wranglers in stock now. St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge, Edmonton's best rated Ram and Jeep dealers.
Stingray All Good Vibes with Prime Video Channels is your ticket to thousands of concerts and karaoke songs. Benefit from the Prime Day promotion between July 10th to 17th. Subscribe today to receive 2 months of service at 99 cents per month.
Welcome to California.
Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for concerts, karaoke, and more. Prime subscription is required.
Little extra brass bonanza for you on a lovely Friday afternoon. Also, Canada taking on Uruguay for third place. And hey, lots of extra cake on the line to win that game for Canada. So that goes at 6 p.m. on Saturday. We have Riverhawks on the road, Stingers on the road. Elks at home Sunday, 5 o'clock. So there's your their local viewing options. Of course, hey, the Jays. Suddenly the Jays look pretty good. Did anybody claim Kiermaier yet, Cons? Is that has he cleared waivers?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So that comes in tomorrow?
Another day, yep.
So I'll be curious. I know that's kind of a new thing in MLB. It could kind of change the deadline factor. So I wonder if anyone won't claim him. Makes a lot of money, though, so not sure if they will. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick and the chest freezers. You can get one of those for only $199. Also, limited time deals. You can get extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances with the Buy More, Save More event right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, we're 9 Sundays away from NFL football, and let's say a couple weeks before we get our NFL camp previews going. I want to ask you this. Going into the season, which team intrigues you the most?
It's always a good question. I'll let you go first today.
Thank you. Well, bias, of course. I want to see what Harbaugh does. I am intrigued by a couple teams with rookie quarterbacks that might have been drafted a little high. So the Vikings and the Denver Broncos. But I'm going to say my number 1 team is the Detroit Lions. Obviously, a heck of a run last year, making it to the NFC Championship where they fall to the San Francisco 49ers. I want to see what they can do. They've built up a really good offense. Defensively, they had a couple players battling injury last year. So I'm going to say the Detroit Lions. I want to see if they can duplicate last season.
Yeah, well, we had Jimmy Howard in here in the studio last week. He was talking about the Lions and how, it's a huge football town, even though they haven't really been that good for a long time. And so finally that they were. So that's a good one. I'm going to go, I guess, the team. I'm curious about Jacksonville. Do they ever improve? So I'll go with the Jags. That will be, they were over 500 last year, but can they get back and be a playoff team?
Good one. What is Trevor Lawrence? We'll see.
Yeah, fair point.
Question number 2. Since we are in golf season, and I know there's a lot of golf etiquette, what to you is the one you absolutely have to follow?
Oof. Well, there's some that are crazy sticklers. I don't know. Do I have to follow? I don't know. You got to count your strokes, I guess, right? No foot wedges, but again, if I'm golfing in a course and my balls, I'm not playing on the PGA Tour, and if there's some tree branch or whatever, and I move it 2 inches back, I don't care. But what do I have to follow? I would say I like it when you have to putt all your putts.
Gimmies?
I don't like the gimmies because gimmies can be all. And after watching what Rory did, that's why I don't like gimmies. So if I had to pick one, I'd be like, putt in all your putts. Plus, that's how you get better.
One for me, I don't like. I really try to avoid talking people's backswing. Don't want to be that guy, especially if it's just abrupt. And then also, the speakers are becoming a lot more popular in carts. The volume. I think if you're hearing it more than 5 feet away from the cart, we're getting a little loud. And living on a golf course the last little while, I've had a couple instances where the music's just been blaring. Hearing this jazz as I go for my walk down the course. So the volume of the speaker in the cart, I think, is one we gotta watch out for. Question number 3: if the Elks were to lose on Sunday to the Red Blacks, which I don't think they will, what changes would we see in their rematch?
Go ahead.
None. Nothing major. That's what I'm going to say. I think if the Elks lose to the Red Blacks on Sunday, you'll see some tinkering on the defense, some players in, some players out, and that'll be it.
I guess it depends how they lose. I want to preface it by that. But yeah, because I think a lot of people are wondering, what about quarterback?
Yeah.
I'll say this. If Bethel Thompson throws more picks this last game, then I don't care how many yards. If they lose because of an ill-advised pick, then hey, you can't. What are you waiting for at that point? What do you have? What do you have to lose to not play Trey Ford? So if they lose, then I would say they have to play Trey Ford.
We discussed Paul Skeens on the show today. Young guy who pulls off the mustache while he's out there on the bump. So right now in the sporting landscape, or anywhere else, just society, who, in your opinion, is pulling off the stash the best?
Well, Skinner. I think that's kind of the easy one. He's got a pretty thick one. Likes it, wears it well. People enjoy it. So yeah, I would go with Skinner.
I dislike the Chiefs, but I got to give some respect to the big man, Andy Reid. He's been pulling off that mustache for a little while. I think he's grown it out a little bit longer since some Philadelphia times. I'm going to go with Andy Reid and say right now he's pulling off the stash quite well. And my final question for you, it kind of comes in one from Brad Slater, who was in a little bit this day. Since it is Shark Week, if you had to be any species of shark, which do you think you would pick?
Oh God. I guess if I had to pick, like, it wasn't great white. Like, I guess I'm going to want to pick one. I'm going to want to be a great white.
I'd say that's probably a good one.
Like, I don't want, like, there's the hammer, right? There's the hammer shark. But yeah, I probably want to be the great white. Be the hunter, not the hunted.
See, I was going to go with the hammerhead. I think they're just the goofiest looking animal. I don't know. They're pretty unique. They're almost comical when you look at them. So, yeah, I'll take the hammerhead, but the great hammerhead, the largest of their species.
Okay. Can I add a bonus question?
Yeah.
So, K-Days announced their menu. They have 24 new food items. They have dill pickle cotton candy. There's the pickle fry poutine, triple pickle poutine, the big dill dog. So clearly a lot of pickle choices here. The twisted pickle, the ultimate pickle poutine are some of the new ones. Are you a big fan of pickles? And pickle and poutine, what say you?
No. All these menu items sound disgusting to me because I do not like pickles. Even when it comes to poutine, I'm a little bit of a stickler myself there. I like the gravy on the side because I like the fries crunchy. Don't like them to get mushy. So no, I would love to go to K-Days. We'll be avoiding those things. The Sour Patch Kids ice cream, though, might be one I take a look at.
Well, there's a sour infused soft ice cream, which is topped with sour candies.
That I'm here for. Pickles, not so much. The aloe vera lemonade looks very cool as well, if we're talking drinks.
Yeah, it has flavors of ice cubes. Hibiscus tea and then butterfly pea tea are the flavors of the ice cubes. Yeah. Now the lemonade one, I could kind of the Aloha lemonade, smashed lemons and pineapple, serve with coconut. That's I could get on board with that for sure. So, but like cotton candy, I just don't eat anymore. But I'll say like dill pickle can be very flavorful in lots of things. I like dill pickle, like dill pickle chips. Sign me up.
So what you would go for it here?
Yeah, but I like pickles though.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. How do you not like? You don't like cucumbers?
Not really. Kind of bland to me.
But what don't you like about pickle? Like you don't like a good dill pickle? Just straight up dill pickle with like you put dill pickle with cheese and meat and crackers. It's a win. It's a win all day.
Dang, I mean, if we got they're on a charcuterie board sometimes, right?
They can be.
It'd be more for you.
What about sweet pickles?
No pickles.
No pickle at all.
No pickles.
Really?
Maybe it's my grocery store time, working with cucumbers, field house, the finger goes through them, kind of gross me out, but never was a fan.
Hey guys, I'll tell you what, shark I wouldn't want to be, a San Jose shark. Hi-oh from Crotch. Hey guys, check out the Mako shark. Is it Mako or Mako? I don't even know. But what is it?
Oh.
Kind of looks like a great white.
Some fierce teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Big eyes.
It's a large mackerel shark. So, are they aggressive? They have few predators, mainly larger sharks that may prey on smaller short fin. So they're not the top of the food shark chain. I don't want to be one. Because eventually you're just getting eaten by a bigger shark. No, thanks. Not taking it at all.
Gregor, I know you like donut. Are you going to go try the Long John donut grilled cheese?
I can't. I'm on a no sugar right now, so
oh no,
can't do it. And see, the problem was I started to like donuts too much. So and then I read like the fourth unhealthiest food. So I think I'm probably getting off the donut train, unfortunately. Not completely. But to the level, well, I was bringing in donuts for the group all the time, way too often, way too.
Selfishly, we loved it.
I know, I just got into a habit, so it's just a habit I had to break. So yeah, wow, the Italian Center donuts are unreal, though.
Yeah,
so good.
So close too.
I
So
know.
convenient.
Mm-hmm. So I just had to be like, no, can't do it. Can't do it. At least not as often as I was. Like anything in moderation, like once a month, but I was doing like once a week. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. And actually tried one of these earlier today. Oof, they're good, man. If you want it, you can get the mixture. Now I didn't try the watermelon wave, which is back, but I did have a Booster Juice. They have lots of healthier ones on there, right? The power ones. So with just the fruit, like I'd love just the strawberries and the banana. So good. But they also have the cookies and cream booster ball. Ooh, tasty little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies. Download the Booster Reward app and try one today, only at Booster Juice.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Week 6 in the CFL kicks off. Gets going tonight. Winnipeg taking on Calgary just after 6:30 down in Winnipeg. Tomorrow you got Saskatchewan and BC meeting. And then at 5 o'clock on Sunday, Edmonton takes on the Ottawa Redblacks. Lineman Robert Condici suffered a left leg injury. Looks like on the knee. He's listed as doubtful for Sunday's game for the Redblacks. Drew Brown passing every step in concussion protocol. He'll start QB for the Redblacks. In the majors, the Jays are in the desert, taking on the Diamondbacks tonight at 7:40. Tomorrow, the two teams meet again just after 8 o'clock, and then on Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can hear both those games on Sports 1440 radio feed only. Elsewhere in the majors, you got the Athletics, Phillies, Guardians, Rays, both those games scoreless early on, and the Tigers leading the Dodgers 2-0 in the top of the second. Later on today, White Sox host the Pirates, the Rangers in Houston, Cubs take on the Cards, Angels take on the Mariners, Braves in San Diego, and the Giants welcome the Twins to town. The Edmonton Riverhawks on the road taking on Victoria tonight. That gets going just after 8 o'clock. The Stingers, 2 games this weekend. On Saturday, they're in Scarborough taking on the Shooting Stars. Then Sunday, they head to Niagara, battle the River Lions. In the WNBA, the Dream host the Aces at 5:30. You've also got the Mercury in Indianapolis taking on Caitlin Park and the Fever. Then at 8 o'clock night, the Storm up against the Lynx. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Edmonton Elks linebacker Derek Moncrief. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? The Mixed and Mingle League. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club every Thursday as they pair up males and females for a fun and social round of golf. Only $33.30 all season long. Details at cattailcrossing.ca. Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Weeknights, right after the Jason Gregor Show, it's Turn Sports from the Universal Radio Network. I'm your host, Navin Ramrak. Join us as we talk local and international sports. That's tonight, 6 to 9 on Sports 1440.
Rule number 116. In Waterton, walk with a lean. The wind will always prop you up. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Be melon jolly, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt. And fan favorite, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seats. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
No matter where you're heading, Co-op card locks are open and ready to fuel your summer. A Co-op card lock card unlocks round-the-clock access to over 390 conveniently located fuel stops across Western Canada so that you can fuel up anytime, day or night. We're proud to be Western Canada's largest card lock network, with many locations offering amenities such as convenience stores, showers, and overnight parking. So whether you're fueling your work vehicle or a farm truck, Co-op keeps you on the road. Co-op, fueling Western Canada.
NASCAR Canada only makes one stop in Alberta. And that one stop is Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin.
The NASCAR Napa 300 is coming July 26th and 27th. Experience NASCAR excitement as internationally renowned racers
like Andrew Ranger, Kevin LaCroix, and DJ Kennington
compete for the national championship on our paved oval track. Tickets are moving fast.
Get yours at EdmontonRaceway.com.
Some people see their RV as a way to travel the countryside and explore the great outdoors. For others, it's more like a summer cottage. Sure, it's got wheels, but that doesn't mean that you have to roll it around all the time. And I know someone who uses his RV exactly like this. It's Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Hey, Rick, when was the last time you hooked up your trailer and took it somewhere?
Been years, Bob.
You just leave it in one place?
Well, you have to see our campsite. It's near Seba Beach. There's lots of privacy. It's a heavily wooded area, but very close to the lake, with full water and electrical hookup. So my wife, Deanna, and I enjoy cottage life with all its beauty and all the comforts of home.
And the RV you use as a cottage, did you buy it new?
Bob, what are you, nuts? I can happily find you an RV as nice as mine. Got dozens of them on the lot right now. And Deanna and I are living proof that you don't have to pay new RV prices to live the dream.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Just after 5 o'clock, you made it through another week. Hey, maybe you're going on holidays. Many of you take some time off in July. Enjoy it. You earned it. It's good. Maybe you just made it through the week. You got through the heat wave. It's nice. Now you can barbecue, sit on the deck, maybe go into the lake, whatever. Have some fun tonight. Maybe just going on to the town. Have a barbecue, get together with friends. It's a weekend. Make it a good one. Jason Gregor alongside Connor Halley. Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And you know what? Hey, if you want to make it even better weekend, why not get your ticket for Lotto Max tonight? 50 million. Actually, 55 million. Not just 50. 55 million up for grabs tonight with 4 Max Mills as well. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website. Hey guys, Connor says he doesn't like pickles, but I thought he likes Caesars. Well, maybe he just doesn't have a pickle in his Caesar.
I hate Caesars. I would never drink a Caesar. That's the most disgusting drink. Awful.
Hey, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, one time we were out.
And wow. That's like the most upset I've ever heard. What? Great.
They brought us over once at an establishment. Hey, we made an extra one. Do you want it? No, get that away from me.
What? Really?
I hate them. Nothing good about them. People say they're great for hair of the dog, but
I like a beer and Clamato.
Yeah,
have you ever had a beer and Clamato the morning after you're hungover?
No, but I'd rather have that than a straight Caesar.
Okay.
I do like what places do to really elevate their Caesar.
Yeah, I like a good asparagus in the Caesar.
Yeah,
big fan of that.
No, I mean, I
don't love Caesars either, though. I'm with you. Like, I don't mind them. I'll have them, but I don't love them.
If it's hair of the dog, like give me like something carbonated, and I'll be good. Rum and Coke, Ryan Ginger, maybe. Those types of things are more likely to get me back into it.
Okay, there we go. Let's get to the spec report now. Brought to you by GS Construction. Reminding you, go slow through those construction zones and laborers, pipe layers, pipe layer helpers, top women, top men. They're hiring them all right now at GS Construction. Go to Indeed.com. As Mark Spector joins us. Spec, you like Caesars, don't you?
I love a Caesar, and I used to have this Latvian uncle up at Floating Stone Lake. And when you went up to the fire on the Saturday night and had far too many drinks, Sunday morning he'd be standing on the deck and he'd have a little stubby of Canadian in one hand and a little small can of Clamato in the other hand for a red eye, and he'd pass them to you and he'd say, "Sign in." So everybody had a red eye up at Floating Stone Lake when they were a little bit hungover. Jason, you're right on the right track here.
Yeah, no, that the red eye definitely it helps, no question. The next day for sure. A few things, Spec.
Yes.
The Jaylen Brunson contract here from the New York Knicks. I don't know if you saw it or not, but he signed a 4-year extension for a measly $156 million. He could have signed a max deal 5 years at 269, but he elected to go to the 156 so he could give some more cap flexibility for his team, which I said I would have put in my clause then. I get to have a say in who we're going to spend that money on, because just because you have extra money doesn't mean that you'll spend it wisely. But it just got us looking at, like obviously the vast differences and how much TV contracts are for the NHL and the NBA and, the NBA, it's vastly different, even the NHL, which has been around, a massively long time. And I wondered, is there anything, the NHL, they're never going to close the gap. Right? I just don't see how they're ever going to really close the gap, considering how expensive it is to play. There's fewer people playing and fewer people watching hockey in the U.S. than ever will the NFL or the NBA, right? There's nothing that you can foresee the NHL doing to ever really close that gap, can you?
No. I when people talk about, here's this guy, he's making $40 million a year, and is he the very best basketball player in the world? I'm not sure. But the very best hockey player in the world makes 12 and a half, and that's Connor McDavid. So I look at it like this, Jason. We all know these guys that have a house and they say, "Man, my house, it's worth $1 million." You know what? Your house is worth what you get for it. So put that house in the market. The market's going to tell you what your house is worth. So take this to sports. You can say all you want about inroads hockey's making, and I'm the fastest growing sport here, and I'm in the biggest markets there, and blah, blah, blah. The market is how much TV money are you getting, right? What's your TV contract? That's like sports' version of how much did your house sell for on the open market. And I'm here to tell you, hockey's TV rights are never going to be anywhere close to basketball, football, or baseball. They lag behind, and they're never catching up, because hockey is not a native sport to the vast majority of a country of 370 million people or whatever there is in the States, and it's never going to be.
Yeah, it is growing. You have more kids playing hockey now than ever in the U.S., right? And obviously the United States about 10 times larger than Canada, so it will grow. I think it's way too premature. I see, and a lot of it's emulating from the United States, although there are still some Canadians. I saw Steve Simmons had his article. Oh, the U.S. is overtaking Canada in hockey. I'm like, what are you talking about? There was 18 first rounders that were Canadians. There's only 4 that are American. Go look at the Canadian top scorers compared to the American top scorers. If you think that Canada doesn't have as much depth as the U.S. right now, you're dreaming. I don't think that's remotely close. They might have closed the gap a bit, but the gap is still heavily in favor of Canada, in my opinion, when it comes to hockey. But you are seeing some inroads in the U.S., which is great in non-hockey markets, but it takes decades, centuries to really change the thinking for a lot of sports fans.
Oh, listen, basketball is people grow up with, let me start again. Americans do sports way better than us Canadians. Americans invented tailgating, okay? Americans love their local college sports team. And they spend a Friday night watching college football or Saturday watching college basketball. You go to watch the Golden Bears, U of A Golden Bears, as good a program as there's been in the history of Canadian university hockey. And what do they draw, Jay? Do they draw 2,000 people? Do they draw 2,500 people? Right?
Yep.
You know, the U of A Golden Bear football team, what's it draw? 3,000 people maybe on a good day. You know, Americans do sports better than we do. I'm a Canadian. I'm a proud Canadian. They're better at it than we are, and they care more about it than we do. So the sports they care about are their sports. And frankly, hockey is growing and there's more kids playing and all that stuff. But the vast, vast majority of America is not hockey grounds. It's, you know, again, there's 370 million people that live there, and there might be, you know, 40 million of them that live in hockey states, and the rest of them live in basketball and football and baseball places. And I'm not sure how that's going to change ever, Jay.
Yeah, no, it's fair. You look at the Elks then, and obviously right now they have become an organization that there's lots of anger from fans. I think there's a lot of apathy from fans. Is it as simple as saying winning brings it back, or do they have to do significantly more when that new owner gets announced later this summer?
Well, I'd say this: winning alone isn't enough, right? Winning alone isn't enough. But I'll tell you this: if you don't win, it doesn't matter what else you do.
Yeah.
Right? Is that fair to say that?
I would think so. Yeah. Like you'll get some fans, but you're not suddenly going to get 30,000 regular back in the facility when your team can't win. Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
You know, there's so much history. I mean, so much history, and you know, the changing of the Eskimo name was a huge decision. And the fact that since the day they changed it, they've been an awful football team has also been very difficult. You know, we shouldn't be talking about the fact they changed their name, but we do, because when we think of winning football teams, we can't think of one named the Elks, right?
Yeah.
When we think of solid football tradition, a team in our town that we're proud of, a team that was nationally known, right? We have to think of the Eskimos, because you can't give me an edition of the Elks that qualifies. So, you know, they've dug a big fat hole, and I'm not saying they can't dig out of it, and I sure hope they do. But whatever else they do, there's a few things that have to happen here. They got to be well run. They got to get people's respect back. They got to put a good product in the field. If it doesn't come with some W's, Jay, I don't care what else they do. It has to start coming with some W's here.
Yeah, no, I think it's totally fair, completely fair that has to happen, and you know, maybe it does on Thursday or not. Now, what about Canadian soccer, Spec? And you know what? They have a pretty big run. You know, they're obviously in the third place game, and a win. I do think a win. It's just it leaves a different feeling for those who have started to get invested in it. You know that you've got good players, lots of good young players. I think on that team, that's a key. It's not like this is this is the last hurrah. Everybody's retiring. Between now and the World Cup, which will be in Canada coming up in the summer of 2026. That there's at least some growth. Now they got a massive way to go. It's not like they're a top 10 nation by any stretch of the imagination, but you become a top 25 nation, top 30 nation. Now you're competitive most games. And even though they lost Argentina, they were competitive in that game. The difference was just the high level skill of some of Argentina's best players was better than the high level skill of Canada's best players. I think that was fairly noticeable. But where do you see soccer going here? And when you listen to their coach, they talk about the CPL and the importance of, it's amazing how they say how important it's going to be for that league to develop more Canadian players.
Oh, this has been it's been an ongoing thing I go back to an old coach. I remember I had a long talk with a guy they hired named Holger Osiek. I don't know if you'd remember him. He was the head of the Canadian men's team. I'm talking 25 years ago.
Yeah.
They brought in this German guy, and he was a very successful coach in Germany. And what he said was, until you have teams in your country, right, that young players look up to and say, man, I hope I can make that team one day.
Yep.
You know, like we have in Germany, like they have in Argentina, right? Like, you know, the kid in Edmonton has the Edmonton Oilers, man. The young hockey player, he looks on the screen, you know, every third night all winter long. And that's a goal, and it's tangible, right? It's right there in front of them. Guys like Stu Skinner, they actually do it, you know, and they become good players. Until Canada has some soccer equivalent of that, you know, guys go, sure, we know what Alphonso Davies is doing over there because he's the greatest player we've ever had. But Canadian guys go over to play in second division somewhere, and we all lose track of them. We don't know where they are. They're not on TV. There's no kid at home watching a guy in second division Dutch soccer every Saturday going, man, I want to be that guy. So it has to be tangible. It has to be accessible for Canadian kids. And we didn't just come up with this theory. This is an old theory that we're still trying to crack, Jay. Canadian soccer at a professional level is the way we're going to create more good Canadian players the same way all the other countries do it in their country.
Yeah, and it would, it would obviously be huge if it happens. No question about it. And I do like that kind of, not comparison, that's the wrong word, but explaining the importance of it. And that's why it sucks so bad that Edmonton lost their team. And it's something that if you look at down the road, that would be a team where you say, hey, look at what the Riverhawks have done. They've done it correctly. Look at how the Stingers have done it. They've done it correctly.
Yeah.
Could you bring professional soccer back to Edmonton and do it correctly?
Yeah, I can't see why not. Like, we sure do support the team, our national teams, men and women, when they come and play a game at Commonwealth. We got a good soccer. I got to think it can be done, Jay. I got to think it can be done. There is a boneyard of former soccer teams in this town, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of guys who lost a lot of money trying to make it happen. But and I'm not here to tell you that I'm putting my money in the pot, but I think this is such a good sports town. I don't know why it can't work here, Jay. If the Riverhawks can make it, and if the Stingers can do it, why on earth can't a soccer team do it?
Yeah, part of it might be facility, I think, right? Commonwealth's too big for soccer to start, and Clark's probably too small. Realistically, I know that they brought in some temporary stands and things like that, and because if you could make that a bowl, and obviously the cost of that would be probably way too expensive, but if you could make that a facility that was 10 to 13,000,
oh, perfect.
I think then it would make, because ambience does matter. There's no question about it, right? And I think the Elks, if they start to win win one game to start there, would bring more people back. When you had 24,000 people and everybody's in the lower bowl, it's going to be better than 24,000 split between the lower and the upper bowl. I'm a firm believer in that. So I understand why they did that, but right now it still looks terrible because there's not that many people there. And I do think that atmosphere plays a big factor. And I do wonder if that's a reason why, and that might be the one thing that holds back soccer in the city, is they just don't have a proper facility.
No, I think you got something there. And this is the rock and the hard place, right? Like, that facility you're talking about is a $75 million build or whatever it is, right? Who's doing it? And what's your return on investment in the Canadian soccer, that's the Canadian Professional Soccer League, to start by spending that kind of money? Taxpayers aren't buying that stadium at this point in time, I would say to you. So that's the nut, right? Who's building that park, Jake? Who's building it? How about 1440? You guys got lots of money.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
That doesn't sound promising.
Yeah. Hey, man, running a radio station's hard enough. Running a pro team, that's a different level. It would be, hey, it'd be fun, but it would be, it'd need a few partners for sure.
It's a tough business. And like I said to you before, there's a lot of guys that have lost a lot of money trying to make soccer work in several towns in Canada. And let's hope, we can hope for it, because I always say this: if it can work in other towns, it's a sports team. It's got to work in Edmonton because this is, and I'm not just saying that because I'm an Edmonton guy. Edmonton is proven out to be one of the best sports towns in Canada in terms of guys walking up to the wicket and spending dollars on tickets, right? They actually spend money on tickets here. You can tell me I got a town with lots of corporate freebies and all that stuff. I don't care. In Edmonton, we got mom and pop tickets. We've always had them. And if it can work everywhere else, it's got to work here.
Yeah, fair enough. Spec, have a good weekend, and we'll chat with you on Monday.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
All right, it's Mark Spector. The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. What are your thoughts? Like, I know there's a big soccer community here. Was it the stadium? Like, and I heard some stories that FC Edmonton wasn't run very well too. So, you know, that's always a factor. Like in any business, some businesses fail because they're not run very well. So heart can be in the right place. Doesn't necessarily mean it's run well. But I'm curious, how much does facility play into it? Or would Clark, with the, you know, add in the seatings, even if it's temporary, would that be good enough, do you think? I'm curious from the soccer community and what their thoughts are. 833-401-1440. When we come back, Derek Moncrief's back with the green and gold. How will they be different? How's the defense fit him? Can they be successful? What do they have to do to get a win? We'll find out next in the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Elks fans.
Touchdown! Get on the Elks Party Bus for every home game at On the Rocks for only $35.
Included is a game ticket, round-trip transportation, and a prepaid Coors Light.
Reserve your spot now at ontherocks.com.
And OTR is your go-to for every Euro Cup game.
With $5.25 Heineken.
Their first major trophy. It's the ultimate football experience.
Canadian or European.
Only at On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the Cheesy Burger Trio or choose between the large Cheesy Burger Pizza for $18.99, Cheesy Burger Papadilla for $9.99, and Bacon Cheesy Burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some cheesy burger pizza at Papa John's.
Think of us as the opening act for Kevin Carius. This is Jonas Knox from Fox Sports. Join me, Brady Quinn, and LeVar Arrington weekday mornings from 4 to 7. It's 2 pros and a cup of Joe right here on Sports 1440.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
The Bricks Appliance Super Sale is here for all your home outfitting needs. Check out amazing deals on all major appliances, like chest freezer starting at just $199 and washer and dryer packages for under $1,500. Plus, shop incredible deals in other departments, like up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. This summer, the Bricks Appliance Super Sale has got you covered, whether you're looking for items as big as a fridge or as small as a kettle. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
527. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Live in the eWell studio, ewel.ca. Your partner in power since 1976. Supplying the city of Edmonton and all of Alberta with all your electrical needs. It's ewel.ca. Of course, this weekend we mentioned Canada-Uruguay. And there'll be no supplemental discipline for the Uruguayan players, which really isn't a surprise considering, Colombian fans were supposedly going after their young kids and loved ones in the crowd. Awful. So nothing. And we'll see how Canada performs in an opportunity to get third place. And, hey, there's lots of pride on the line. There's extra cash for the foundation. So it's still a pretty big game. Goes tomorrow night at 6:00. And then on Sunday, 5:00, the kickoff, the Elks, as they host the first of two in a home and away. They'll be in Ottawa next weekend, taking on the Red Blacks as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment, an innovative market leader across Western Canada with properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Hockey Super League, the Seattle Thunderbirds, and more. And now the new Female Super League. That's Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment. As we are joined, a gentleman who's back in green and gold for his second tour of duty. Elks linebacker Derek Moncrief joins us. Derek, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Wonderful, man. How you guys doing today?
Doing very well. You come back in. You were signed during the bye week, and obviously you've played under Coach Jones both here and in Saskatchewan. Has the defense really changed? Is this like pretty easy for you to come in and get the playbook and understand it quickly?
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's like somebody asked me that the other day, and it's just like the back of my hand, man. I know myself. I know that playbook for the last 7-8 years now. So me just stepping in right away and just getting myself back in the flow of the game and going to get someone. So I'm very familiar with the defense, and I'm ready to just put my put my best foot forward here come Sunday.
You come into a team that's desperate for a win, and winning's infectious and losing sometimes can be infectious as well. Derek, you come in, how do you try to help a group of guys that they're not getting blown out by any stretch? And some would argue there's games they should have won. They've been the better team for long stretches, but they just, there's key mistakes at key time that seems to be killing the team. How do you get that out of your group?
Well, for me, man, every day, man, I pride myself on being a winner. I pride myself on being a disciplined football player, and just bringing my leadership in, and that's the way, and that's the best way to do it. That's how guys really grasp on, and that's how it's very contagious. And once that thing starts to trickle in, which we've been doing a great job this week with our preparation, it's going to show Sunday. We're coming to win that football game.
When you look at Ottawa, and now you know that who their quarterback is going to be, and I know that teams prepare. You say, "Hey, we prepare to what we want to do," but there's always, knowing what the other team is going to bring. And now you know that, hey, Ottawa's QB got cleared; he's going to start. When you look at the offense of what you've seen, what's the thing you guys have to be most leery of about their offense?
Yeah, just first of all, man, Drew Brown, coming in, first year starter really, but great young talent, great can run he can throw on the run, make all the throws. So we got to be prepared for everything, man. And then Crum coming in the game also. We got to be ready for both quarterbacks, and you just gotta play the downs how they come, play our techniques and everything like that. And as long as we do our jobs, man, I think the game will be easy for us.
As the overall defense, Derek, you said, hey, I can pick it up pretty easy. What about like timing for linebackers? How important is it for you to get reps to kind of feed off of one another? Does that take a while to build that not only within the linebacking core, but even with the front seven?
For me, I mean, it's just the games comes easy to me now. I play with Niles. I played with Niles Morgan in 21, so we got some familiarity, just playing with each other and communicating. Been watching film and things like that, but just making those practice reps and watching that film together. The better you prepare, the better you are prepared for the game. So we've been putting our best foot forward, and man, it's going to be great come Sunday night.
Looking at your offense that you've gone up against in practice, and like anything, when you see a group up front, you probably get a different sense of what they are. They've been able to spread the ball around very well, which maybe is a good thing. I don't know, sometimes maybe it's better to have one dominant guy. I'm not sure, but having gone up against them now, what gives you the most confidence about your offense?
Man, they can do everything. We got great 2 running backs, man. We got great receivers. Belto was throwing that football, man. He's playing some of the best football right now. And we got full confidence in those guys, whether we're in the run game or in the pass game, man. All we got to do is just execute to our preparation and just let the chips fall where they fall come Sunday.
What were you doing prior to getting picked up by the Elks?
Man, working out, man, running 3 times a day, lifting weights, practicing game reps. For me, the season is kind of easy for me because I put so much work in, 4 rounds in the off season. So for me, just pushing myself to the limits each and every day. So when I came here, man, all I had to do is just get back in the flow, and I'm here now come Sunday.
Like, you're only 31, Derek. In the real world, that's young. In sports, sometimes it depends on position and stuff. That can be old. So as you're training, how confident were you that the phone was going to ring?
Very confident, man. I said this as soon as I got released in Saskatchewan in January. I still got a lot of football left. 5, 6 years easily. I keep myself ready, and just praying, man, praying and manifesting that thing. And it didn't matter how long it took. I just knew I just had to continue to prepare and know that phone was going to ring. And now I'm here back in Edmonton.
So when you look at it, for like, guys get cut doesn't mean they're not any good. We've seen guys get cut and go to other teams and play for 4 or 5 years. Well, how much of it is salary cap? How much it is, what goes into it, and how do you wrap your head around that it's not personal?
Man, it's a performance-based business. Now, you have to put your best foot forward each and every year, right? And it's just like this. It's a young man's game. In the States, NFL stands for not for long. My dad jokes with me all the time. And the CFL stands for can't for long. So you got to be able to understand that and put your business cap on each and every day. Don't get tied into the personal things, because everything changes on a day-to-day basis within the organization. So you just got to, put your best foot forward. And, man, whether you're in Saskatchewan, Edmonton, wherever team, you just be your best self. And, man, you look back at it, you may have a Hall of Fame career.
That's, I like the acronym there for sure. Not for long, can for long. It is like, it's a tough sport. One injury sometimes can be the difference for a lot of players, and, or it derails your career. The fact that you had extra time off, Derek, and you're like, how much fresher do you feel now? Do you notice it?
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Me, I had a major surgery after the 2022 season. So last year wasn't my best year as far as my performance. And for me, putting that extra time in and having that time this year, man, it's really going to show. I haven't seen the best version of myself. I believe this is the best version for the fans or any of the viewers here. It's going to be great Edmonton Elk football, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. Derek
Moncrief joins us. Derek, was that your first major surgery that you had to come off of?
Yeah, only surgery I ever had in football, ever.
And so coming off of the surgery, because, I think a lot of our fans who watch the Orders, Connor Brown had surgery. He had it, and a year later he came, and it took him almost like 17 months to be the player that he used to be. For you, you look back on it, not that you rush back, because you clearly were healthy enough to play, but did you notice a distinct difference when you were playing, that you just weren't capable of doing things that you used to do pre-surgery?
Yeah, because in the off season, man, that's where your gains are. That's where you put your best foot forward. And when you're rehabbing, you really can't push yourself. You can run and stuff like that, but football, man, you have to be able to lift those weights. You have to be able to do different things, and I wasn't able to do that. So this off season right here, man, I was able to really get back to the basics and learn some new things and just get stronger and faster, man. So I'm just glad to be here right now.
What is the one thing when you step back on the practice field with the green and gold this week when you're like, okay, I'm back to where I am? Like, was it noticeable for you even in practice?
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Just just seeing different formations that if I was a rookie, man, it'll mess with my eyes and reacting to different things. And just seeing it's an art to me. Football is an art, so I can be able to draw stuff with my eyes and see things before it happens. And I'm able to trigger on, break on balls, and man, come Sunday is going to be really fun. I'm excited.
Yes, yesterday I had McLeod Bethel Thompson on the show, and we asked him about a missed, an overthrown pass that he had, and he broke down the whole play and and really he's got like 2.5 to 3 seconds, and he explained all the different things that go on that he sees it. And then he talked about an interception. He didn't like it. As a linebacker for you, you know what? Now I know you haven't played a game this year, but if we got you back on, I could say, hey, in the third quarter on this play, do you have the recollection? Like is the middle linebacker kind of similar to the quarterback where you got to be as much as you're athletic, you got to be cerebral?
Yeah, no doubt, man. Me playing stand linebacker, you have to be able to do what I do. I have to read the run sometimes. I have to read the run in the same play and have to read receivers and what they're doing. So for me, I can't be a step late or I can't be a step too quick. I just have to have that right timing, man. And I probably have one of the hardest, positions on the field on the defensive side, being my size, because guys not usually my size and running like I'm running, they have to cover and hit someone. So, be able to, break down things and, and the timing of everything, man, it's very critical. What
is the hardest part of timing? Because you mentioned, you played last year, but you haven't played a game now in, I don't know, whatever it is, 8-9 months, the longest time you've been out. Yeah. What is the hardest thing to get back as far as your timing in the game?
Man, really just, seeing things, breaking on the football, reacting to a running back, how he's cutting or, how the lineman's blocking, all the different nuances in a football game. If you haven't played in a couple months, it usually take a guy maybe a first 2 or 3 series to get his feet. For me, I can't afford to do that. So for me, I'm watching extra film. I'm putting the time in, right? I'm taking care of my body. So when Sunday comes, that first snap comes, I'll be ready to go.
Derek, we really appreciate it. Welcome back to Edmonton, and best of luck. And hopefully you get your team's first victory of the season on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Thank you, fellas. Have a good one.
Derek Moncrief. That's back-to-back really good interviews from Elks players. I like this honesty. Hey, you know what? You've been out for that long. And, hey, not for long, can for long. And it's true. It's a business. And it is a tough business. There's no question about it. You got to have a deep love of the game and a real strong belief in yourself. Coming off his first ever major surgery, you're not the same player right away. Even though you're healthy, you're not the same. We saw it with Connor Brown. And, Connor Brown talked about it. He didn't have the pop right away. He wasn't quick. He couldn't get it on pucks. And so if you don't have that pop as a linebacker, well, now, even if you are anticipating the right play, if you can't get there, and we're talking, half a second, right? Like, it's not like it's a massive difference, but it's enough in professional sports to become very noticeable. So I'll be curious when you watch Moncrief tomorrow to see what he brings to the defense. Because his first tour dude here in Edmonton, he was really good. He's actually quite good in Saskatchewan too. So we'll see where he comes. Lots of guys, you have that first surgery and you want to get back to the player you were. In some cases, they never do. Others just need a little bit more time. For Moncrief, he's hoping he is the latter for sure. We'll come back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Wrap things up next on Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Mr. Rooter sent his daughter to university.
You're sure you don't want to go to plumbing school?
No, Dad. I want to be a civil engineer so I can plan the sewers.
What a dreamer. I have a surprise. Your dad, Mr. Ruda, is going to pay your tuition.
Oh my gosh, really?
Here you go.
Oh, coins. Why are they so dirty?
Well, it's every coin I ever snaked out of a toilet. You're welcome, sweetheart.
Ugh. For an A-plus plumbing experience, call Mr. Rooter.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
What a season. What a ride. Congratulations on an incredible season from GS Construction. Whether you're a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man or woman, or water and sewer foreman, GS Construction has room for you on their team. GS Construction, celebrating 50 years of laying the groundwork of Edmonton and communities throughout Alberta. Let's get to work. Get started today at gsconstruction.ca.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Have you lost control of your debt following unexpected car troubles, home repairs, an illness, or a divorce? You're not alone. Life happens. My name is Parveen Middleton, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton, and I'm here to listen to your story. Every day, I craft personalized debt relief solutions to help people like you regain control. Take the first step now. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Right now, get up to $11,300 off select Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate Crew Cab models. With employee pricing, combined with Sierra's 6.2-liter V8 gas engine, 13.4-inch diagonal premium infotainment system with available Google built-in, plus available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance tech, there's more reasons than ever to celebrate this summer. Hit it! Oh yeah! Ask your GMC advisor for details.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is still the #1 company for families who don't want to see dad in his underwear. Come on, we warned you about a heat wave a while ago, and lo and behold, here we are. So call Legacy now before the heat wave convinces dad to cool down in a kiddie pool in your front yard. Yeah, we still got air conditioners in stock, and yes, you won't have payments or interest for 1 year. Keeping dad from bathing in public during a heat wave. That's how you save your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
We wrap up. Very busy week here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As always, thanks everyone for listening. By the way, the numbers here the last few months for Sports 1440 really, really good. Whether it's listening on radio, streaming, watching on YouTube or Facebook, the live feed on Twitter, the numbers just continue to grow, which is awesome. I know this time last year you had no sports talk radio in the city, and you really missed it, as did we. So it's good to be back and talking football and hockey and soccer and basketball and baseball. It's unreal time. We've got the Olympics coming up in 2 weeks. We'll do some. We're hoping to get some of the Olympians on. Timing's a little bit of a factor because they're over in Paris and stuff right now. But it's we'll get some former Olympians on. There's always some great stories, and there's always going to be a few surprise gold medalists or maybe unexpected gold medalists, or a few that are expected and they're able to live up to it and win, because God, it's hard. Could you imagine, like, you've been an Olympic champion, you are like the best in the world in sports that a lot of people do. Like, anybody can run. Obviously there's other sports that are a little bit more specialized, I would say. Like gymnastics is definitely, your size has something to do with it for sure. Although gymnasts are bigger now than I ever remember, right? Which is no surprise, because you consider basketball players are bigger, hockey players are bigger, football players are bigger. But gymnastics, not only are they bigger, they're also getting a little bit older, which is probably a real good thing for sure. So we'll see. Lots of text, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, we don't talk about that dark, quiet time. Hey, Klaus, you got to talk about your fears sometimes. It's a good reminder of what wasn't good, for sure. So, hey, guys, I think that if they went with the Stinger model from day one, cheap tickets, food, build a brand base, would have generated a lot more interest. My best friend was in charge of ticketing for day one for the exhibition. They brought the model to the owners, and they said yes. And the first day they were charging $30 a ticket for the cheapest one for soccer. For a product that was not established at all, I don't think they understood how to build a fan base for the community. I've been to many Stingers games, and from day one, I said FC Edmonton did the same thing. They would sell out Clark Park. You know what? Unknown texter, we'll get your name from the comment. I think those are some very valid points. You build it and they will come. Make it exciting, affordable, gain the interest, and then the team starts to win, and all of a sudden, sure, then you can raise the ticket prices. But if you put your ticket price too high to start with, it's going to turn some people off. And then you throw in the fact your team's not competitive. Well, guess what? That's not good at all. Not good at all. So, not ideal. You'll need an owner for certain. But Cons, I would think, when you consider like the national team coach, and I wonder with this massive influx of money coming to the federation in Canada right now, I wonder how much they will try to help out the CPL and look for maybe, solid prospective owners to say, hey, Daryl Cates, you know what? Why don't you come? Do you want to own the team? And I just do. Maybe Randy Gregg wants to. Like, you never know, right? Like, there's, it would be something to consider, because I definitely think there's a strong soccer market here in Edmonton, and you just have to you have to have a good product and a well-run organization to make it work.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the fans will come out there if you give them a good product, and obviously for the good owners, you're gonna have to find them, obviously, and make it a business where you can profit. I mean, I don't think there's too many people that are just going to get into this for the love of the game and continually year after year put money into it and not get anything back, but do it what these teams have done, that we've seen the success. Like, even if the teams have struggled their first year, which we really didn't see from the Stingers, but we went to a game. The food prices were cheap. Parking was good. It was a fun environment. They had the people working there, the staff. Everybody pretty much left with a mini basketball. It was a good time. Riverhawks, same sort of thing. How do they get you in there? Well, baseball in Edmonton in the River Valley is perfect, but you also had the beer bats. Remember those? Like, who didn't want to go get a beer bat at the Riverhawks game? They made it fun. The kids could run on the field, things of that nature. You do those sorts of things for a soccer team. Like, I went out to a game a couple of years ago, probably would have been the last year FC Edmonton was playing, and it was a great crowd. But, the environment, the area was maybe a little bit tougher to get to, some of the issues that the Elks fans have. I don't know how great the concessions were at the time. But if you continually get that, the winning eventually does come. You've already got that small fan base, and then the winning's going to bring more and more people in. So I hope that the success that they have had at this level with Copa starts to open up the eyes that soccer can be profitable for those smaller business. And from there on, that's just going to grow the game from the grassroots level and continue to develop these guys. And you just look at what we've seen from some of the bigger markets in Europe with the eyes on Canada. A lot of these guys are starting to get opportunities to go play in Europe, which is going to help grow the game as well. So yeah, the success that they've had at Copa so far is going to be good. And I do believe that if you have good owners that are committed to giving you a good product in Edmonton, soccer can work here.
Oh yeah, I'd be floored, to be honest, if it didn't. So we'll see. Everyone, have yourselves a great weekend. Daryl, we'll see you at the tailgate. I got an invite to stop in before the game, so I'll definitely do it. Said he's got a few brats ready to go, so we'll probably be there maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock. Should be fun going to the green and gold game, and should be a great time. We'll see if they can get a win. Have yourselves an awesome weekend. Enjoy the heat. Enjoy the barbecue. Please don't drink and drive. Don't be inebriated and drive. Get home safe. Be smart, and we will chat with you on Monday. Cons, have a good weekend. Have a good holiday.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Let's get to the Con-Man, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Albatross Roofing. They're looking for experienced flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators. Must have experience with the SBF modified bitumen roofing systems. You can apply at roofingalbatross.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 6 in the CFL rolls on tonight out in Winnipeg as the Bombers host the Stampeders. That'll get going just after 6:30. Tomorrow night, you got BC, who's 4-1, hosting the 4-0 Saskatchewan Roughriders. 5 o'clock start for that one. And then on Sunday, the Edmonton Elks look to pick up win 1 of the season as they'll host the Red Blacks down at Commonwealth. Kickoff 5 o'clock. Some news for the Elks. They'll be likely without a Robert Kondichi, defensive lineman who left practice with a knee injury today. He's listed as doubtful. And good news for the Red Blacks, Drew Brown has passed every step in the concussion protocol. He'll start at quarterback on Sunday at Dino Night. Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays are in action tonight, taking on the Diamondbacks. First pitch set for 7:40. We've got a bunch of games going on right now. In the fourth, the Dodgers trail the Tigers 3-2. Athletics lead the Phillies 3-2. Braves have a 1-0 lead over the Guardians heading into the fifth. The Yankees up on the Orioles 2-1. Mets have a 3-2 lead over the Rockies. And the Red Sox trail the Royals 4-1 in the top of the third. Later tonight, the White Sox host the Pirates. Rangers are in Houston, and the Cards taking on the Cubbies. The Edmonton Riverhawks in Victoria tonight. That'll get going just after 8 o'clock. The Stingers do not play tonight, but tomorrow they will be in Scarborough taking on the Shooting Stars. And then on Sunday at 1 o'clock, they take on the Niagara River Lions. WNBA action after 1. The Aces lead the Dream 20-15. And in the second quarter, the Fever up on the Mercury 28-16. Caitlin Clark, 6 assists in that one. It's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got another edition of Turn Sports. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray Radio.